Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mancunian Way Blues Down Under. I'm your host, Pat. Back for not just possibly the last Blues Down Under for the season, certainly the last one of a certain era, Mr. Pep Guardiola. It is now official. He has left the club, albeit under some wonderful celebrations in Manchester, just about 12 hours ago. So we'll have a talk about that and a lot of other things as well too. But joining me, as always, it wouldn't be Blues Down Under without Rich and Governor. Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you're well. It's good to see you.
Evening.
Evening.
And just as a little extra treat for everybody out there, and in particular anybody who's listening in from our little corner of the world over here right now. Obviously, it wasn't the best time zones, and with all due respect, I'm sure people like Stefan and a lot of other Arsenal fans would have been flooding every single pub around the world. So didn't have as much opportunity for Blues to go out there and celebrate, all the things that Pep and Bernardo and John Stones have done. So for anybody who wants to get involved, obviously we'll have you on for a call-in show for the next however long we're on until Rich starts getting a bit sluggish. But
a bit sentimental.
Yeah, and a bit sentimental. Yeah, they might. Yeah. So I've already left the link for the stream in the bio. Plus, I will also put it in the comment section as well too. So anybody out there who wants to jump in, have a bit of a chat, and share your feelings, your emotions, about the last 10 years and how optimistic or pessimistic, depending on who you are, about next season. But we'll see how things go. But look, we'll dive into obviously Sunday's game. Of course, emotions running high in the ground, and I've got to be honest with you guys. I didn't really think that when once it all hit me, I didn't really realize, we didn't really expect that maybe we may not have been able to perform that much. I thought Aston Villa might have been on the beach a little bit, and emotions would have been running high, certainly, particularly when there was rumours going around, I think before the game, that Stones and Bernardo were absolutely bawling their eyes out, and the whole team was very emotional leading up to the game as well. So I figured you can't really go into a game, a top, against a top side like Aston Villa when you've got emotions running that high as well. But it's quite interesting, actually, because the way we played in that first half, you didn't think that there was a lot of emotion there. I just think it all sort of crept in that second half. But I don't know if you guys saw it a little bit differently.
Well, Bernardo was bawling his eyes out. Pep said that afterwards, that Bernardo kept bursting into tears all morning. So I think that one's clear. And I did enjoy finding out what Johnny Stones' first words to Bernardo was, although I don't think we're past the threshold in the UK, so I'm not sure if I can repeat it.
About 12 hours, mate.
that was pretty funny. No, so it was amazing. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think either team was taking it remotely serious. I mean, you know, for an opposition team to give during the game guard of honours to players is, you know, that wasn't a competitive match. And apparently Bournemouth's, you know, CEOs come out today saying that, you know, it wasn't taken seriously. City gave Villa the game, and that's cost Bournemouth a place in the Champions League. But I don't see why it's in City's interest, honestly, that Bournemouth are in the Champions League, because that would put a ton of pressure on them and make them an easier team to play in the Premier League. But you know, it was a bit weird because it wasn't. I don't think it was a game taken seriously. I mean, you look at how many players wouldn't have played who are on the pitches. You know, I think City were playing other players who may not play for the club again. You know, you had Erling Haaland as cheerleader. Villa, you had making a ton of changes from Wednesday. So I think the only thing that it will do is Unai Emery has finally beaten Pep, which he's been trying to do for about 15, 20 years away. I think he's beaten him, obviously, at home, but I don't think he's ever got an away result against Pep. So he's finally got that. And you know, Unai Emery looked pretty happy because maybe now he's the best manager in terms of what they've proven in their career in the Premier League. So, you know, he's probably.
I think it wouldn't have worked, Rich, if they were done it at the end of the game, the guard of honour. Then they were taken off before the end, so it wouldn't have worked, would it?
Yeah, but it only.
You know
but the thing is, it could only really work basically. You know, if neither team gave a crap about the game.
Did it have testimonial vibes like Jack Lee's just mentioned?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes a point there, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
I knew
helps as well, too.
Pep would do a madness for the team, though, last game. I knew he'd do a madness. And play people that weren't going to sort of be there again. So...
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird lineup, wasn't it? But I mean, you know, you look back on it and you see like not even Rodri and Haaland were in the, you know, even in the squad at all. So there are players there that maybe last chance to try and prove themselves. I don't know how they're going to prove themselves, but yeah, I mean, makes perfect sense for Haaland and Rodri to rest before a very taxing World Cup comes up in a few weeks.
And I tell you, our chances of keeping Rodri have probably been hit because I think for the first time in history,
it is.
Real Madrid.
I was blown away when you told me this, Rich. Yeah,
Real Madrid do not have a single player in the Spanish World Cup squad. So the best 26 Spanish players have been picked, and not one of them is a Real Madrid player. They've had in our lifetime Spanish squads with double-digit Real Madrid players in. So that is a massive disconnect for the team who see themselves as the team of Spain, as representative of the nation. The Barcelona are the Catalans, they're not Spanish.
The capital.
You know, but there's a lot of Barcelona players in that team. And I think whether they come out and say it or not, you are going to see in the next few years Real Madrid bringing, I guess, some Spanish talent through their own academy, but also picking some up.
Do you think, no, Rodri doesn't care going into, you know, a shit show at Real Madrid with the egos and that? You don't think he cares about that? He just wants to play for him?
I mean, I suspect he might be brought in to bring professionalism, discipline, and everything to that team. Well,
because to be honest, mate, I think they've been lacking that since Kroos and Modric left.
They're an absolute shit show, and you know, assuming it's Mourinho that comes in, he is going to need 1 or 2 or 3 incredibly strong team-focused characters in that team to knock it into shape, because they're just an embarrassment to football.
Yeah,
they're an utter embarrassment to football.
Mbappe's not going to listen to no one. Never mind Rodri.
Well, then they're going to have to at some point, you know, sell into a team. You know, because Mourinho's not going to. You know, one thing about Mourinho, a bit like Pep, is he doesn't take someone he thinks, you know, they're too big. And if Mbappe can't behave like a professional, and I think he probably can, because I think he does generally for France. So, you know, I just think they've been allowed, you know, it's like kids at, you know, if kids at school were told they can set the rules and there's no consequences of any rules they break that they haven't set, then they're going to behave like idiots. And I think Real Madrid have gone like that. Too many egos. I mean, you can't, you know, it's, you know, it's almost, you know, how do you fit the egos of Bellingham and Vinicius,
the same
and
scenario,
Mbappe all into one team? Yeah. And look at them now. They got rid of the egos and they're now, you know, best team in Europe.
Do you think now all the partying, that's all over, the goodbyes, we're going to hear pretty soon now? I think they need to get that out of the way. Maybe that would have overshadowed everything if it was, you know, told before the partying and that. So maybe get all that out of the way, and now you'll hear the two major decisions, the manager and Rodri.
I think Rodri, I think the manager they can do quite quickly. Rodri, I suspect, is going to be a little bit harder because someone's got to pay City what they'll accept, and they've got to pay him what he wants. And, you know, with his and honestly, he's probably at the moment focused on the World Cup, not where he's playing next season, because he's, you know, whatever happens, he's got City for another 12 months on a 350 grand a week contract. So I don't know if we'll hear that quickly about Rodri, but we may have to sign his replacement now, even if he's around for another year.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rodri case is something that we probably won't see anything, any true, like anything concrete come out of it until that World Cup's over.
I think it needs
at least
to be
a few weeks
soon.
after, regardless of whether Spain get knocked out early or make it to the final, whatever. Yeah, I don't think we'll hear anything for several weeks.
But if I was buying Rodri, I'd want to see him that he goes to the World Cup and he gets through it and he's shows his fitness on that stage. So you know,
because we've said it before, I think this World Cup's a good chance for him to get up to his absolute full match fitness, because I think he hasn't. While he's been playing relatively well, you know, still coming off long term from that injury, I think that World Cup would actually benefit him, just in the manner in which, in terms of what time he's returned, and that certainly would help a lot more. Because, you know, a lot of those top players in the World Cup, they're going to be on their last legs for the season, and, you know, trying to get as much rest as they can between now and mid-June. Sorry. But I think Rodri's just in that position where he's had plenty of time off. And he's just been slowly bedding back in over the last few months, and that I think he'll be ready to go.
It's not hard to make a decision, though, is it? It's been quite a while now. Do you know what I mean? Just get out of the way. Stop all the hypotheticals. And what's just dropped in the last, I don't know how long, that they've put a price on Anderson for 115.
Yeah, and what will depend on that,
115,
honestly. Yeah,
115 is his price.
Yeah, but that depends. If that's 115 paid over 5 years, that's probably about 90 million in today's terms, 85 million. You know, that's not crazy.
Do you think it's 115 for a certain reason?
Well, no. If it's 115, which it could be for a certain reason, if it is, then 115 cash up front is massive. If it's 115, including some add-ons paid over 5 years, then I don't think it's unreasonable for him. The problem is, it's the same with, you know, when Arsenal, when we bid 100 million or whatever it was for Declan Rice, and Arsenal had bid 100 over 5 years, and we went and bid 100 in one go. Arsenal had to up their bid by 20 million to match City's because they were paying it over 5 years, and therefore, you know, they needed to take account of that. But
I don't think City will. If City don't come to the party, we're back to the drawing board, aren't we?
I suspect they've got. I mean, I think that City are looking at other people as well. I think there's no.
This morning, how much
we've been obviously looking at.
How much do you think City have got to play with? How much money do you think we've got this season?
I reckon we probably will be able to spend over 200 million because we'll probably sell 100 million. So I reckon net spend 100 million odd.
Well, we worked out the players that are going out. We reckoned you're looking at 120 million going out.
So I reckon that means we can spend over 200 comfortably. 200 to 250.
So
are we also not even factoring that there's probably going to be at least usually 50 to 100 million just from sales of the academy as well.
Well,
I'm sure
there's a lot of academy players that have started making an eight. They're in that rotation now where they've gone from
they're little bits, though, aren't they, Pat?
They do go a long way. Big reason why we're always well within the parameters of the PSR as well.
Well, say 200. So you've got your main target, which is around 100 million.
I reckon we'll spend 200 on 2 midfielders. So I reckon we'll probably spend 250. And then if we sign forwards, they'll be paid for by forwards leaving.
Well, what you've got to do, Rich, is you've got to obviously get a main target, maybe a second midfielder, but you need a keeper and a right back.
Yeah, I think we have to also think: is Maresca going to do some things differently? Like Maresca might look at our team and think, O'Reilly's a midfielder, he's not a left back. We've got Aitnouri and we've got Gvardiol. He might think, I want to play, because it was by all accounts Maresca who, when we went to 4 at the back in our treble season, Maresca was behind that. So if that was the case, I was saying it to someone earlier today, who's to say we don't line up Gvardiol, Gay, Diaz and Kuzanov as a back 4? Kuzanov playing the Walker role. And honestly, Kuzanov is actually better than Walker at the attacking passes. So, he'd be easily as good as Walker in the going forward part of the game. So, I mean, we could see something like that. I've seen a number of people speculate that Donnarumma won't be picked by Maresca because Maresca, it's vital in Maresca's, the way he plays the game, that the goalkeeper can get the ball to the centre-backs and the centre midfielders. And Donnarumma can't do that. So he saying that, Maresca may have to pick Trafford if he wants to keep playing the way he has everywhere else. The goalkeeper has to play the function of getting the ball to at least 4 players to break the press.
The right back, we don't need a superstar there. We don't need to spend a lot of money on that right back. Just a backup for Nunes, like a 30 million.
I'm not thinking necessarily backup. I'm thinking more like, as I said before, maybe like a very young sort of raw up and coming sort of right back. Looking more scouting, a bit more scouting in Europe. Not necessarily someone who is going to get in first. Over like on the sheet over Nunes all the time, but someone who can compete with him, because we've established that Nunes is solidified the right back role now. It's his to lose. Who he loses against is anybody's guess, because he's a one-man show there at the moment. But again, as we've said years before, the reason why our squad was so successful over so many years was there was so much competition for those positions. And sooner or later, if you leave one player just in one position week in, week out, they can get lackluster. They can lose, composure each game. And I think I know we're talking about this Kavara Reed, and I know that's the easiest name because it's been through the rumours for like the last 6 to 12 months. But he does fit the bill of what I've just been mentioning. He is young. He's a young, raw talent, and he could compete with Nunes for that role week in, week out.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need a superstar in there. Just get someone in there around 30 million. That's all you need.
Well, as you know, mate, we don't sign superstars. We make them. So
you don't have to go mad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The main target is the midfield. It's the most important position on the pitch for us. We've got to sort that midfield out first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of questions, going into summer. There are a lot of questions going into summer, but I think hopefully I can speak for the majority that I'm looking at it where it's like, well, Pep's going. Things are going to change, and the sooner you learn to embrace those, the sooner you can look forward to what's going to be coming as well too. And I'm going to be honest with you, probably maybe with the exception of Luis Enrique, because I would feel like he kind of would pick up where Pep left off to an extent. I still feel of every manager that's available out there, I do feel most comfortable with having Maresca in there for now.
Yeah,
and in my mind, I do feel like I'll be that way in 6 to 12 months' time, regardless of how we're playing.
I have said it in comments, but if you've seen the party, I made a comment and said, "Holding the FA Cup, that's our future manager holding the FA Cup." When he came on stage,
I must admit though. I'd actually be interested in seeing if we tried to sign a really proper right back, and Nunes was the backup. Because there's one thing I think, you know, probably one of the reasons we haven't won more Champions Leagues than we have is because for a large part of Pep's career, we haven't had proper defenders playing at fullback. And I think that's why we won in 23, because 23 was we were the best defensive team Pep's ever put together. And I think you can win the league with mad attacking football and being suspect at the back. But I do think that in 23, the reason we won the Champions League that year and not others was because our defence was so good. And you saw it in the final. We didn't play well, but our defence was good enough that we kept out Inter Milan. And I think if we want to win more Champions Leagues, and that's what worries me, why Arsenal might beat PSG. Everyone seems to think PSG have got it in the bag. But Arsenal are a better defensive side than PSG. PSG miles better in attack. But I do worry that when you often see the best attacking team up against the best defensive team in knockouts, the defensive team often wins. It's why Mourinho's got such a good record. It's why Mourinho's Inter Milan won a Champions League against Pep's Barca, when in a league, Pep's Barca would have finished 20 points clear of that Inter Milan side. But in one-off games in Europe, I think defense is so important. So I'd be interested to see what happens if we went out and signed a proper, you know, a Livramento or someone who's a proper right back, and then we started a season with 2 proper fullbacks playing. You know, what would we look like, and how much more solid would we be?
Funny enough, Rich, I mentioned this probably a month ago on here, and I mentioned I'd love, as I said it jokingly, I'd love to get Lewis Hall and get Pep to invert him to the right. Now, the last 2 games Lewis Hall has played for Newcastle, he's played him on the right. Them last 2 games of the season, he played him on the right. Now,
I think I have to say, I can't understand how he isn't in the England World Cup squad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few players, like, regardless of what I think of him as a defender, I think Trent not going is madness, because he can pass the ball. And if England need to get, you know, if England are 1-0 down with 20 to go, do you bring on Jed Spence, like, to change a game? No. Yeah. Arnold, however much I've never been a massive fan of his, could ping in a ball that gets you back in the game. So I don't know how Madueke can get in. I don't know how he gets in the Arsenal 25 named players for the league. How he gets in ahead of Palmer or Foden or any number of players.
Well, they've not had a good season, really, have they?
No, they haven't. But Madueke isn't good enough in his best game of his career. He's not good enough for an England squad.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
all right, guys. So
Tuchel's got his favourites.
Yeah. Well, I just opened the lines for everybody there. So anybody's seen, I've just put the link in for the show. It's also in the bio as well too. So anybody is welcome to come and join us here while we're on for a little bit longer. Yeah, guys. Obviously, what did you guys see the parade?
I watched. Yeah, I watched lots of bits of it or different clips. I didn't watch it end to end, but you know, certainly saw some things. It was interesting to see.
About 4 o'clock, wasn't it? So that's about 1 a.m. here, isn't it? Yeah. So it wasn't quite beneficial.
It was interesting to see that Vinny came over for it. I mean, I think that long term is quite a big sign that, you know, a day after the end of a team. I don't reckon that would have gone down massively well at Bayern Munich, or maybe because
especially with him wearing Pep's Puma merch as well.
Yeah. I think
he had the gold P jacket on. Yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah, I think
they had their celebrations. They weren't happy Bayern about it.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine they wouldn't be happy at all. I mean, you know, because it clearly, you know, it was about more than just Pep, really. In fact, he's carrying out a trophy and.
Yeah, well, I suppose if cooler heads prevail with the Bavarians, at least they'd say, like, look, okay, we're not fans of it, but it's like, we know your links to that club. We know your links to Pep. I suppose there is some sort of, there's got to be some sort of acknowledgement of it anyway. But, I mean, I've got to say, for me, the most impressive thing was probably, you know, bringing all the 20 trophies out. You know, they even had Noel Gallagher bring up the Club World Cup. And I remember there was one funny one there where he said, I've ended up with this, and they somehow gave Bernardo a community shield. Which I got a really good jolly up from. I thought that was hilarious. But, I mean, God, there was, there was some funny stuff for that.
talking about the end of the game, I think I started getting up, welling up when they shouted Gundo, and then the crowd just went up for Gundo, and that's when I started really.
Yeah.
When that crowd went up for him.
He is such a legend of the club. I still think, I see all these lists of the top 30 players to ever play in the Premier League, and I've never seen Gundo on one of them. But Gundo is,
Gundo in terms of recognition
Premier League
will fall in the same category as David Silva. Give it 5 years after he's left, and they'll all start talking about it.
Gundo's Premier League influence and big moments is bigger than he's probably had more big moments than Lampard and Gerrard and all these players who always go top 10. And Gundo is criminally underrated. I mean, and it's interesting because Yaya always gets in. And now for me, Yaya at his peak was the best, I would say the best midfielder of the Premier. I don't think at their best anyone could touch Yaya at his best. The difference was Yaya's best was 3 seasons, and some of the others maintained 15 years. So obviously, over the Premier League as a whole, they were better than Yaya. But Yaya's peak. But I actually think Gundo he had big moments like Yaya, and he had them over a lot longer period than Yaya. He was central to the team, and Gundo, is it because his personality's a bit quiet? He plays for City. He's German. He's got a lot of things counting against him with the British media. But he is criminally underrated.
He's a reluctant hero. As cheesy putting it about Colin Bell.
He's criminally underrated. Yeah. Gundo, to be able to go from being, a world-class number 6, which he kind of started at, to becoming that goal-scoring, darting 8/10, getting all our goals and getting us back into the top of goals. And then someone gets injured and he goes back into the 6 role and wins us the league. I mean, he was, he's like, Bernardo's tactically like that. And Bernardo's never rated as highly as he should be in those things either. But the difference between Gundo and Bernardo is that Gundo got a lot more stats, shall we say, than... So he had a lot more really big moments, goals or assists or things probably than Bernardo does, because he was, a bit more inclined to get in there. And he scored, and Gundo gave me probably the happiest funniest moment of City's history when he scored that goal in 1.5 seconds against United. Because I don't think I've ever laughed as much in my life as when that happened.
That's great memories for me. But no, I think you're right, actually, Rich, and it's good parallels you draw too with Yaya there as well, because I think we said this 12 months ago when we said goodbye to KDB, where I said, KDB's obviously had a greater legacy and longevity at the club than Yaya Toure, but I don't think any midfielder we've had has had a better single season than 13, 14 Yaya.
I don't think, I still credit Yaya above anyone else as being the player who turned us from the old City into the new City. Because in those games like Wembley, when we won the FA Cup, when we finally won something, or the semi-final when we beat United and we finally believed we could beat United, or when we won the league and he's getting those goals up at Newcastle and Villa and stuff, it was, he carried us on the back, and he just rose to an occasion, and he could do absolutely everything. I mean, here's a player who played centre-back in a Champions League final. So he's good enough to play centre-back in a Champions League final, scored goals at Wembley. He could finish. He got 20 Premier League goals, didn't he, one season, or 25 in all comps. He was just, absolutely incredible.
What was it, 20 goals, 12 assists, and I think 20 of the, more than half the goals were open play. Yeah.
And then when he went through teams, it was like there were games when he was like men playing against children. It was like watching competitive dad on the Fast Show. He was just running through these Premier League footballers like they were.
Do you know what it was, Rich? Premier League just released they did it for a few seasons, like a few title running season, like 30-minute highlight packages, and they put one out recently a few days ago for the 13-14 season. And as good as it was to watch, it was just like I had it on fast forward until it got to Yaya's running goal, the 4th goal against Villa, which pretty much sealed the title for us the week before we played, West Ham the following weekend. But it's just that run in the driving rain and everything, and then just squeezed it past. That was
And it
just
was, yeah.
to me.
And it
To
was
me,
like,
that just summed up Yaya's entire season, and I think it was
well,
kind of fitting that his final goal
good
of the season was that one.
Yeah. That 10-11 season to the 13-14 season. So that was 4 years. He was absolutely exceptional. Now, yes, you know, he dropped off after that. So David Silva had 9 exceptional seasons at City. You know, Bernardo had 9 exceptional seasons. De Bruyne had 10. Yeah. So you can't match Yaya's 4 seasons against, you know, someone like Gerrard or Lampard probably had 15. So you can't compare Yaya's 4 seasons. But at his best, Yaya would have shoved off Gerrard with one hand, Lampard with the other, run straight between them and banged it in the top corner. And, you know, and they couldn't have done anything to stop him.
Do you know who else made their debut in that game against Villa as well? Very young Jack Grealish. He's about 18 years old, I think he was. He made his Premier League debut, came off the bench late in that game.
Did he?
Which, by the way, did you see that he came back and they had him lift in? I think he had the Super Cup, UEFA Super Cup there. Mind you, though, he didn't feel like he wanted to be there though. He looked a bit grumpy.
Yeah, we saw him in the background when he didn't want to get involved.
He probably feel like he shouldn't be there or something, but
yeah,
Maresca might have a different opinion on him.
I know. Yeah. It's going to be different for all these players.
He's just one of I reckon, about 4 dozen different bloody topics that question marks that we're going to have coming in the next season. And the thing is that even if it is announced tomorrow that we sign Maresca, there's still going to be just as many question marks about everything that's going to happen. But
that's right. The system is going to play is going to bring other players into it. I reckon that didn't get a game.
Yeah.
You know.
And the way City do their business as well too, they'll be discreet about it too, because you know I think if my memory's right, they don't really like to sort of parade a lot of big news about the club while the World Cup's on as well too, particularly probably because they're a bit worried that if it distracts players or things like that. So while I think the thing we may see is that the club will do a lot of business, but we may not hear anything about it publicly until probably the final whistle of the World Cup final.
Well,
there'll be a lot of stuff going on, but we'll just be we'll be completely in the dark, or we'll probably be too distracted by watch Australia play, or there'll be some epic knockout game or something, which we'll get distracted by.
If we're going to go for Anderson, you'd think Forest would try and get the money before the World Cup, just in case he gets a bad injury. Then they're knackered for selling him, aren't they?
Well, also, yeah. I mean, the difficulty is if Forest get the money, then everyone knows they got the money and they're going to try and charge them twice as much when they buy players. So it's a difficult one for Forest because in part, what they'd like to do is get the deal done, get the money, but no one's allowed to be told. And then they get 2 months to use that money before anything's announced.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's the trouble. As soon as you announce you've accepted 100 million for a player, every other team who you want to buy from, it's, well, they've got 100 million. Let's ask for 40 of it. They've got loads of money. They're not going to negotiate.
But what's important now, Rich, is we've got to get rid of these people in the club now. We can't have these hangers on. We have to be straight now. Get rid of people. Make the room. We can't mess around with these players anymore. We've just got to get rid, and then we can buy. They've got to go. I'm pretty adamant about that now. Just get rid of them. Talking
about Forest with the 115, obviously, I joked around saying, like, do you think there's a certain reason behind that number? But did you see it got posted, I think, just overnight or a few hours ago? Marinakis, I think, was at Olympiakos' basketball team. One of their games or something. He got mauled by a bunch of fans. Like, got his shirt ripped. He got bruises. I think he got bopped in the head a couple of times and that. And it was like, I think we've copped the frustration out of that. So like he's walked out of there pissed and said, "Tell City it's now 115 for." Yeah, so that sounds like that's just reactionary from just out of.
Listen, can I just make my point on this? Right, all the rumours and shit going on about Enzo coming. Right, our club gets a lot of shit thrown at it anyway, and I don't want a player that's got baggage as well. It's the last thing we want with a player with baggage. So I don't want him anywhere near the club, to be honest. I'd rather go. I mean, no one's thought it's going to be even harder getting this player of what I'd like now, I think. But I'd rather go for Bruno G. Tonali we probably won't get. But I'd like to go for Morgan Gibbs-White myself. I've been thinking about it, but we're not going to get them two players from that old.
Well, according to Martin the other
nightmare.
day, he said don't rule out Gibbs-White. It's still possibly on.
Yeah,
so
no, it's going to be a
sounds like some sort of rollover effect from the summer window. So,
but I'm leaning towards I'm leaning towards him more myself.
Well, just going back to what we said with Enzo is Fernandez, that is, and I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here with you, Gov. Is yes, obviously what he said about Spain after that, whatever it was, Spain World Euros or the Finalissima, was uncalled for. You don't say that sort of stuff. But is that because I don't really know if he's have done bad things before that, like. But is that just that one thing? Is that enough baggage for you, or I don't know? Is there?
Well, I mean,
can the chat just ask, say if there's anything else that he's done? Like, because I'm just trying to think, like, if it's just that, is that enough for everybody to basically say, like, no, I don't fancy him?
Nah, I just think it's another thing getting thrown at the club where you can get another midfielder, the same caliber. You don't need the baggage. I just don't want him there.
Yeah. Yeah, I would trust that Maresca knows him well enough and knows all the stories well enough, knows the baggage well enough that he's going to make the right call on that. And you have to trust. If we trust him enough to make him the manager of the club, you've got to trust if he can be a judge of character on Enzo having to work with him for 18 months. I did laugh at someone saying that Napoli should have released KDB. Napoli could have dropped down from second place in the league.
I was trying to make sense of this one.
I'm not quite sure why a team who are still playing for second place in the league should release a player to go to a farewell.
But that's also just the way De Laurentiis works as well too, because he's the owner for decades. He's had his fingers in that club. He's always made life difficult for Manchester City in every way.
I thought he was gone.
No, he's never gone.
I didn't think
he's never gone. He's still
Yeah,
even after he is gone, he's still one with the Cosmic Force in quote Star Wars in Napoli. He still has a say in a lot of things.
But I don't think there is a chairman in world football who would release a player to go to a bye-bye at another club when they've got a meaningful game and second place in the league to pay for. And I would be absolutely livid if City said, "Oh, for this last game, Cherky, you could go back, say goodbye to someone in Lyon, and then we finish third behind United." I mean, sorry, we can throw stones at people, but Napoli did the right thing. They did the thing that City on any other club on earth would have done. And there's things you can beat people up about, and that's not one of them.
Yeah. There's something here and there that.
Yeah. And I wanted to bring up. I know we're trying to talk about City, but just Neil, I did want to answer this question because, I'm really excited with what Australia might be able to do in this, particularly in this group stage. Now, it was disappointing over the weekend because one of our senior players, Riley McGree, got an injury for Middlesbrough in the playoff final. While we actually had a big congratulations to Hull City on getting promoted to the Premier League as well. But it looks like he's going to be out, so that's going to be a big miss for us. But in terms of
you're of English descent, aren't you? Because you're carrying England fan levels of delusion about.
It's easier to. Anyway. I don't know. Sometimes it's easy. It's easier, but it's also difficult to say when certain things are on. Like right now at the end of the season, no, it's not. When the Ashes are on, absolutely.
Can I just mention that game? I watched the Notts County against Middlesbrough, and the first corner, I looked at it, and there was only 2 players in the 6-yard area. There was 2 Notts County players, and I went, "Whoa, where is everyone?" There was only 2 players in the 6-yard box. Everyone was on the edge of the box, gonna run in, and I thought, God,
just
that's a relief.
lining up with their guy.
Something like that,
Yeah. Look, just my thoughts on Australia, just quickly. Yeah, look, very, very confident. The only problem is though, I'm not sure if we have like an absolute stalwart in midfield. Like previous years, we've had like recognized good players in midfield. Like we've had Aaron Moy, of course, who was a great servant to the Socceroos for a long, long time. But also too, we've got an attack now that I haven't seen basically since Viduka Kuhl and Cahill days. Basically, you've got Iran Kunda. Iran Kunda, who was going through Bayern's ranks for a while before he decided to go off and do his own thing. Mo Toure, he signed in February from Norwich and he bagged something like a dozen goals in about 4 months or 3 months. And then you got Jordan Boss, who was playing. It was the left back week in week out for Feyenoord. Won Eredivisie player of the month for the first 2 months of the season and helped them get into Champions League football. So there's a lot of positives to take out of this as well too, given the fact as well that a lot of our, and I said this in last week's show, given a lot of our players are now acclimatized to the MLS, so they're going to be continuing on their form and their match fitness just the same way as they are at club level. So there's a lot of things to come from this, and I love the way that Australian football fans have been sort of keeping to themselves at the moment. Like, let the Americans be cringe about what they think about their team, let them overhype them and things like that, and let them talk down about Australia and that, because I think we're going to do our talking on the pitch, and certainly having a good leader and a good manager like Tony Popovich as well too is going to go a long way in terms of getting those guys absolutely up to as good as peak fitness and as match ready for every game there as they can be. I really like having for a tournament like this. I really like having someone like Tony Popovich in there, given his history, given what he'd done with the Wanderers over 10 years ago. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about what's to come. Yeah, just bring it on. And yeah, look, if the Aussies do have a good World Cup, this certainly won't be the last episode of the season. Let me tell you.
Turkey's in there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we're in with Turkey, Paraguay, and USA. And the big thing is that we're playing Turkey in the first game, which I would much rather do, because I think if you're going to play the strongest teams in the group, I think it's good to play them first. You might have a little bit more of an opportunity maybe to catch them off guard when they're not quite at full.
That's right.
Yeah, you have a better opportunity.
That'd be a great result, that, if you can get that.
A draw sets it. I think a draw sets us up to qualify. A draw against Turkey definitely sets us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just my thoughts about it anyway. And just looking forward to some good kickoff times as well too. Finally get to watch some football at lunchtime and not at not at god awful hours, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Let's see. Just go back to the parade. Obviously, then after the parade, they did that event at the Co-op Arena as well too, which I thought was absolutely incredible. I'll just post a photo here, which I was not expecting them to do, but they brought out all 20 trophies won under Pep Guardiola. Have a look at that.
It's just crazy, isn't it?
That is incredible.
You take a step back and you just think, God, and it's gone like a blur, hasn't it? Like,
when you think about it, yeah. Although, Gov, you say you struggle after about 3-4 seasons past, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because remember that, because we're trying to do John Stones' farewell, and you're just like, "No, carry on." Like, okay, that's great, Pat. I acknowledge that. Now move on, will you?
Yeah. No, it was brilliant.
First,
John
all right,
Stones,
guys. First guesses.
When they opened his mosaic, geez, that got me that with John Stones. Really did. That was
it was very, very, very emotional. Yeah, I was most emotional with John Stones just because he just embodies everything about this club, just like quality football, how to handle yourself too, but also the adversity. Given what he was going through coming out of COVID, with I think breaking up with his missus at the time, and there was a lot of bad press going on about him, and he was questioning whether he should actually continue playing football and that. And he just put his head down, just trained hard, and then obviously some things are meant to happen, and then obviously Ruben Diaz comes in. They form one of the best centre-back partnerships we've seen in English football probably in the last 10 years or so.
I mean, we know because of his injuries, the sky was the limit with that player. Just totally. He could have, best player in the Premier League. If barring them injuries, I don't know where he would have got, amazing.
Yeah, guys. All right. Well, looks like we've got our first guest in. I'll just bring in Oriano into the stage. I know I'm looking forward to having a chat with him actually because I think he wasn't. I think he was on the show the other day when I couldn't make it. But Oriano, are you there, mate? He must be a bit busy at the moment. All right. Well,
he's always delayed, Oriano.
Yeah, he's on mute at the moment, so I'll just put you back in the green room, mate. Just let us know when you're ready to go. But yeah, all good. Yeah, guys. What else? What else is there? It's good to talk about as well.
Good to see, I couldn't believe seeing Pep's dad, 95. God,
yeah, and his birthday. Yeah. I mean, they didn't really hold back. They didn't hold back much, did they? I mean, they went all out. I mean, it was no different to say when KDB. I mean, they had all the legends come in and have something to say about him as well too.
Yeah.
But, it's just it was. Come to think of it, actually, that is probably the best send off we've ever had. For me, a player or a manager, that's the best send off we've had, at least in the Sheikh Mansour era.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Am I the only one though who kind of thinks that we actually saw the real reason why Pep's leaving when he was there with his wife? And I don't know, I have a feeling that he's left City for the one thing in his life he loves more than football, and that probably he's been completely honest that this will help him recover his marriage, spend time with his kids, and spend quality time with his dad, and that he's actually leaving City for the only thing that's more important in the world than City, and that's your nearest and dearest. So I really hope that works, because I think that'll really cement his happiness. And I think if that's true and that's what it looks like to me, that would be the one reason that none of us can argue or debate about, that he's leaving for that. Fair play, that's more important. And
definitely.
Good luck to them. Good luck to them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Steve in the chat. I wanted this goal about 5 years ago, mate.
I thought we're still in for Isco.
Oh, the train's gone. That train's
until
gone.
Until he retires. No, until he retires, mate. We're always in for Isco.
No.
Always. And actually, no. Shout out to Isco as well too, because he's got to be well into his 30s now. Getting basis into the Champions League as well too. So big up to him.
Another question for you: why was Semenyo in a suit when every other player was cash? Is he just a really smart dresser? Because he seemed to be in a suit most of the time, and everyone else is.
When was he in a suit?
Well, did he have an overcoat? Did he have a coat?
Did it? Was it cold? He had a black jacket on, it looked like it. Maybe. I mean, I haven't got the best eyesight in the world.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was dressed.
Looked like he was in a different gear to everyone else.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've seen a single nobody at Manchester City in a suit that's part of the first team squad since Pep used to wear him in his first 2 seasons, I think. No, actually, no. The last time we saw anybody involved with the first squad was when Istanbul, because I know everybody talked about it. They said Pep's decided to put a suit on for the Champions League final, but he still was happy to wear a track suit everywhere.
Yeah.
I still remember that. Yeah.
Now I don't mean a suit like double-breasted and all that.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
3-piece, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean that, but he just looked like he was in different gear to the rest of them.
Trev, what would be a good World Cup for Australia? Quarterfinals.
A good World Cup for Australia.
A good World Cup would be quarterfinals, because if we do qualify.
A good World Cup for England is getting to the quarterfinals. If Australia get out the group stage, they've had a fantastic World Cup.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
I get what you're saying.
Quarterfinal is Leicester winning the league.
A quarterfinal is better than anything we've ever done before. No, quarterfinal is better than anything we've done before. So that's what I'm saying. A good one would be to go one step further than we have
No,
ever
because
in
this side,
our history. Also, too, you've
this
got more
side
teams
isn't-
in the competition as well.
Yeah.
You've got a round of 32 and a round of
Exactly.
16, which they
Exactly.
said even if we
It's
finish
harder.
second in our group, if we finish second in our group, we play
Yeah.
New Zealand
If you get out
in
the
the round of
group,
32.
that'll be great.
There is good opportunities there. Yeah, I'm
That's
being ambitious
assuming New
because that
Zealand-
for me would be
that's
good
assuming
because I
New
think there is a
Zealand
reason to
don't
be
come
ambitious there.
No, but I think that's a bit scouse. You know,
I don't know about that.
No. I think it's
Nah.
totally unfair to if Australia get out the group.
Okay.
Is a brilliant World Cup, and if you're saying that isn't a good World Cup because unless they get to the quarterfinals would be a bloody miracle. It would be a legendary World Cup. It would be one of the greatest moments in Australian sport. It would be up there with Bradman getting 900 runs in an Ashes series.
You've got to be real.
I think you've got to be fair.
In
Getting out
of
the group
as far as
brilliant.
I think we can go at our best. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I think
quarterfinals. I think that's if we got the favourable draw, if we got a good draw, favourable results. I think the best we can push for is quarterfinals.
Yeah. So
that is the absolute best. That to me would be peak. Yeah. That would be.
That's like
peak.
City winning the quad. The best we could have done this season is winning the quad. I don't think you can say it's not a good season if we don't win the quad. Because
you can blame Southampton for that because Southampton was the reason why we didn't win the quad.
Don't be about
unless they're about Southampton right now, the better. I don't know. Are there any Southampton players for USA, Turkey, or Paraguay in this World Cup? Because
the reason you can't blame Southampton. The reason we didn't win the quad was because of bloody Real Madrid and our inept defending and mistakes.
No, we lost the quad. No, we lost. We didn't win the quad because Southampton knocked us out in the CARABAO.
No, I'm talking about this season.
Oh no!
No one knocked us out in the CARABAO.
Oh
no.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the season where we had the best chance of the quad.
Yeah,
that's what I'm referring to.
In that season, we had a much better chance of winning the quad than Australia do of getting to the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
Yeah. Look, that's just me just being ambitious, but I think Look, I'd be happy if we made it to the round of 32 and then
if they get out the group. If they get out the group stage, they've done well.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my view. If they don't get out the group stage, if they come fourth, it's a bad World Cup. But if they get out the group stage, it's a good World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 good teams there. They've got to, get through.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, Australia are going to be.
I don't know, mate. If we make the quarterfinals, I'm coming on the first show we're back. I'm just going to plaster a picture of Johnny Warren on the front screen there. Johnny Warren's just going to replace. It's just going to be in front of you, mate. Johnny Warren's going to be on your green screen because I told you so.
Yeah, I just think that you're being a bit unfair on them by setting something quite that high because they're going to go into every.
It's not that I'm expecting them to. I'm saying. I think as far as they can go based on the way they play, the way that they can play, and who they come up against. I think ambitiously, if you want to be ambitious, the best that they could possibly do is quarterfinals.
Yeah. But, betting wise, they're given more chance of not qualifying than qualifying.
So I like your positivity.
Even by getting out the group, they've overachieved what the betting market thinks of them as a team. And they're going to go surely into every game as an outsider. I mean, you're looking at that group, USA $2 to win it, Turkey $2.50, Paraguay $5, Australia $8. So they're quite heavy outsiders. Not crazy heavy. But
are we higher odds? Are we higher odds than Paraguay?
Yeah, nearly double.
Because obviously the betting isn't based on FIFA rankings because we're ranked higher than them.
Yeah, but I think they're a lot more battle hardened than the Socceroos.
I've seen one of the.
In what way do you mean battle hardened? Well, just because what? Because they all play in South America. Because they all play in South America and they're in the middle of their season right now, or.
Yeah, because they have to play some of the world's best teams twice every season. every second season in the Copa America, and they have to play for World Cup qualifying. So I think Paraguay are more battle hardened than Australia as a team.
Have you seen? I've seen one of the new rules that are in the World Cup now. It's gonna when you're doing
what is it this time?
When you're doing a sub, the player has got 10 seconds to get off the pitch, and if he doesn't, the player coming on has to stay on the touchline for a minute.
So they have to go 60 seconds with 10 men.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's one of the new rules in the World Cup. There's about three more. There's 3 more new rules, but that's one I can remember.
Hmm.
So they've got 10 seconds to get off, stop the time wasting. And if they don't get off by 10 seconds, that player coming on has to stay on the line for a minute.
I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there might be some teams out there that might try and milk that by faking injuries and things like that. I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because, during the World Cup, there's going to be some games played in pretty bloody hot conditions where actually a substitute taking a bit of time gives the players a chance to get a drink without artificial drinks breaks and stuff. So I don't know. I think, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Never in a million years, Stefan. Congratulations on the league. I think you were the best team over the 38 games, but no, just no.
And prime
Argentina couldn't get it fixed.
Prime Argentina was 40 odd years ago.
Did you see that comment about
to be honest, Machina Joe? I might have liked suits, but once I saw David Pleat in that fucking fawn suit running over the main road pitch, I've always hated suits on managers ever since then. Can't abide them.
Yeah. Did you see that comment? I'm just going back to the Arsenal fan. The CEO of the Premier League. Did you see that comment he made about they've got a strategic plan for teams every 6 years to be different? So are we saying Arsenal?
Scudamore, yeah.
Winners.
Yeah. They just don't get it, do they? Stefan, don't talk about oil money when your profile picture has one of your players showing your sponsor. Where's your sponsor from? What's the name of your stadium?
There's so many hilarious.
Look up the link between Stan Kroenke and the UAE. Just please, dude, please. Like, come on.
No.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. Mental gymnastics. The main one from Arsenal fans you get all the time is, Pep Guardiola can only do it because of all the money, right? And it's not, Pep's not a great coach. It's all about the money. And then they'll turn around to you 30 seconds later and say, Pep Guardiola's gone. You're going to fall apart now. I saw on AFTV them saying, City will be struggling to get top half now that Guardiola's gone. So they can, at the same time, argue against themselves completely. And it's just like, well, either it's the money and we'll be fine and we'll be just as good next season, or Guardiola's amazing. But you can't have it both ways.
You're American and UAE backdoor as well.
Can I just say some facts here?
You would be a glorified
this Arsenal
City
fan, I guarantee this Arsenal fan knows next to nothing about Arsenal history. But City were in the top flight of English football decades before Arsenal. City first won a trophy 3 decades before Arsenal. City first won in Europe 50 odd years ahead of Arsenal and counting. City's record crowd is about 15,000 higher than Arsenal's record ever crowd. And on virtually anything you look at, City's history is a lot longer, a lot deeper, and a true long history. Arsenal are only about the 45th oldest club in the English pyramid of clubs. There's 44 clubs. There's 40 clubs who won trophies before Arsenal in the English pyramid of teams. Arsenal are not a history club. They're a club who bought their way into the league with brown paper bags in the 30s and now think that that's history. Football had been going in this country for 70 years before Arsenal were even a thing. And in 4 of the last 5 years, when City have got there, City have been the oldest team in the last knockout stages of the Champions League. I think the only team consistently in recent years who's got there older than us has been United, who are actually, to be fair, an older club than City or Newton Heath compared to some.
And that was Rich's rant.
Our first trophy was one when
Yeah.
Arsenal weren't even in North London. So.
Because I can take Arsenal first. And another fact, Arsenal's owner is like in the top 100 richest people on the planet, a right-wing Trump-supporting American billionaire with oil sponsors, and somehow that is what football is all about. It's all about American billionaires spending $1 billion on players, because that's true, honest football. But if someone with a slightly different coloured skin, not from America, does it, it's evil. It's cheating.
Yeah,
I mean, what a joke. What a joke. They name the stadium after the oil they hate. They wear the oil they hate on the shirts. And
That's
no
right.
Arsenal fans actually seem to know their own club's history. And, that's what makes me laugh.
Yeah. Bang on,
Anyway,
Rich. Don't have to say anything else.
But they deserve to win the league. So, fair enough. We have to take it a bit at the moment because they do deserve to win the league. But we'll be back next year, as I suspect, with
Strategic
Liverpool.
winners.
Yeah. And, I think let's get on with it.
Would have gone with his tail between his legs.
No, I got rid of him because he started saying some pretty bad stuff. So, yeah, guys, we got him out. Just remember, don't stoop to their level, okay, guys? Please, just
That's it.
You know what they're going to be like. Don't fall to their level. We're better than that, and that's what makes our community so good. Yeah, Neil says fawn suit, Rich. I call it 80s beige. What does it mean, prawn suit?
Yeah. Still, the only thing about
isn't 80s wouldn't 80s beige be its own just that section alone would be its own color wall that would cover one side of a Bunnings warehouse.
I think
which for anybody in the UK, Bunnings is like our version of what is it? Yeah, B&Q. B&Q. Do you think so? There's a lot of variations of 80s beige.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it probably is. It's probably actually known as David Pleat beige because he probably actually trademarked the colour. Although, Governor, it's a bit on your lounge. You've got a little bit of the David Pleat.
We said this off camera before. He's got his own 80s beige going on.
He's got David Pleat beige. Yeah, that was the only thing I forgive.
Beige on beige, yeah.
Always comes round.
The only thing that day I forgive about Luton Town, because that was one of the most bad moments in my childhood. I had quite a good childhood, but that was a pretty bad moment. That Luton Town day was Nobby Horton, because he played for Luton that day, but I did forgive him.
I was in the Kip Hacks that day. Oh God.
Yeah. I was at the Didsbury Fair that day, and they announced it we were all listening to Piccadilly and stuff, and then they announced it over the tannoy, and it was clearly a Liverpool or United fan who did it, because they were almost chuckling at all the poor people who just had to see their team going.
Yeah.
All right, Martin's just joined us, but obviously big up to Mark Foggy with the 10 gifted memberships. If you've received a membership from him, W's in the chat. Send your best wishes and thanks for all your help, mate. Obviously huge contributor to the channel. And earlier, before we jumped on as well too, Simo Sups, big up for 29 months as well too. Evening, Squire.
Are
you not going to introduce me?
No.
Do we not get we have our next caller? Come on.
It's a bit hard to introduce someone who's on the payroll, controls the payroll.
Yeah.
Evening, Martin. Afternoon, Martin.
You could give him a false introduction. Yeah. You could introduce him.
I'll tell you what,
Martin's,
we'll try this again.
Martin's
I'll
cousin.
leave.
Martin's,
I'll leave you.
Yeah, I'll introduce him.
Next up is Martin. Good, thanks. How are you?
Yep. It's not Martin. It's Jimmy, his cousin from Sydney. So the agenda.
Don't ask him to do an Australian accent. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah. Go and do an Australian accent, mate.
Yeah, you go, mate.
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. I think the Aussies will make the semi-finals.
Good day, mate. It's a bit rainy down here.
It actually has been, mate.
mate? How are you going?
You wouldn't believe how wet it's been this week in Sydney.
Oh, it's pissing
It's
down.
been shocking.
He's
been
a
like-
troll. Block him. Who am I trolling?
It's been like
no,
summer holiday in Abersour.
No, I was an Arsenal fan. Got rid of him.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Anyway, yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Hope we're well.
Yeah. All good.
We are.
Yeah, doing all right, mate. How was the parade? I know Jack Lee did say at the top of the show, apparently where he was, it was a bit warm, and apparently some people collapsed. So if there's anybody who saw that, wish you a speedy. We hope so.
I didn't do the parade. I was at the co-op,
Oh, okay.
which was fan-dabby-dozy-tastic. What a night.
You do look very, very good. Can't lie.
What a night. Pep comes in. By the way, it tells you something when we get 2 double-decker buses coming through in the middle of it. Pep comes through, and I don't know if people watched it. Pep just goes, wow. I don't think they were expecting what they got. It was, I'll put it this way. I put a tweet out last night which summed it up. Don't ever tell me we haven't got a soul. Don't tell me we ain't a club. Don't ever tell me we're some manufactured, fabricated football club that started early. Because last night was what everything Manchester City is about. Yes, I get the trophies, they're lovely. But we sang, we cheered, there was tears. Any player thinking of leaving this club, and this goes to Rodri, this goes to Josko Gavardio, you ain't going to get that anywhere else. You can stay for 10 years and get that. Or you can leave, be great, and become a member. Which one do you want to be? A distant member or part of the family? Which one?
Did say, Martin, didn't we, on the space, if young players that were there, then look at that, even Haaland, and you go, wow.
Because the lads who won the Youth Cup final were there too, so
you just go, wow.
They're going to learn so much from that, yeah.
Why
you've got Bunny Shaw announcing an extension.
Yeah.
You've got the young lads who were just excited. Teddy Lamb was like a kid at Christmas. It was just phenomenal. We pissed off a few Bayern fans, which was even funnier. Bayern had won the league.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even want to be anywhere near Bayern. He wants to come home.
I said that. Future manager.
Das Resh, thank you. 36 months, mate. Big up for that. Thank you for all your contributions and support. Thank you, mate.
It's all in place.
Yeah. Any other transfer news you've heard yet, Martin?
I'm not saying anything on
we shared little bits and
transfers.
pieces on the group chat too, but
I'm going to stay away
I saw
because
Bernardo going to Atletico. I mean, at this rate, he'll go anywhere in the Iberian Peninsula just so he can be somewhere a bit warmer. But do you see that one possibly happening?
well, if he wants to go somewhere warm, just stay here, mate.
Yeah, but he can't play. He can't play in June every year.
It's 33 degrees here at the minute.
I know, but he can't play in June, can he?
I know.
Yeah, but it's not. The football season's over.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a little warm here. It's a little warm. It's a little warm here at the moment. Just a little bit. I'm not going to say anything on transfers because apparently it's now okay to go around, and I'm going to say this with all the sincerity and thing that it is, and I'm sorry if I'm going to sound like a miserable old git, but when I'm getting touted around on other channels saying that I talk shit, yeah, I'm not really going to start. I'm going to address this soon. In the last few days, there's been a few things being said that shouldn't be said, but I don't talk shit. Others don't talk shit.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it's a good look when by other channels, and I won't name them, and other people going out on other channels saying that me and others talk a load of shit. And they shouldn't believe a word we're all saying. Listen, I've never said I want to be right. I've never said I want to be an ITK. Never once have I said any of that. What we give and news that we hear, and we always say reportedly, and we always say things, it might be wrong, it might be right. So, yeah, it needs to stop. It really does need to stop this, because we're meant to be a community. We're meant to be a family. And all I'm seeing lately are people who, let's be honest, they sound a bit bitter and jealous, really. And I don't mean jealous of me or the thing, but they just sound a bit bitter and a bit, you know, because the channel's doing well, you got to rip things apart. So I ain't going to allow, you know, the hard work of this community and this channel be dragged through the mud because people don't like us or don't like what we say. It's unacceptable. We won't accept it. And people got to remember, people watch other channels and they will let other people know things. So, yeah, just, you know, keep your palate dry, be respectful, because that's what we are in here. We are respectful.
And what we're talking about, Martin, Martin, is a lot of the things we talk about is hypothetical. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like with the things like Rodri and the managers, it's all hypothetical what we can do, the team set up. So, you know what I mean? Well, it's all guessing. There's no factual things, really.
You know, listen, man, we do hear some stuff. Some of it's wrong, some of it's right. You know, did we want to be right on Pep? No. No, I don't think anyone did. No one wanted to be, you know, it's not about right or wrong. It's about just giving. And here's another thing this summer. We're going to have to talk transfers, I'm afraid. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking about the colour of someone's bedroom or the weather or colour of your car or whatever. We've got to talk transfers.
Or how City players again in the World Cup. And we've got 15 players.
Unfortunately, Rich, our guest, does not give two shits about the World Cup.
Well, no, I'm talking from the City point of view. I think it's going to be interesting to see how City's players do in the World Cup. And, you know, I'll be watching the World Cup more for watching City players play than, you know, being completely nuts about someone winning it. I mean, obviously, everyone will start humming 3 lines when they get to the quarterfinals before they lose to France. But, you know, it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see Doku. I'm excited to see Cherky. You know, I'm excited to see how Haaland goes with a team totally focused on playing to his strengths. You know, I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
I think so.
No,
Ariana's joined us, but apparently he's mute. His mic won't unmute. So I'll just keep.
Can he go on camera?
Let me know how you go.
Can he go on camera and mime? He could mime, you know. And we'll have to just guess.
When it comes to transfers, no, I don't know about Elliot Anderson. There is genuine interest in Enzo Fernandez. But I mean, we talked about this last night. We need to get players out before we get anyone in. We have a squad of 26 now. We take away Bernardo and Stones. The rest are all under contract. So for anyone to come in, we need to sell some players.
What I said.
We can talk about what we need. Maybe.
Froggy, 35 months, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. Foggy, you're a legend, and everyone, by the way, who's doing memberships. Big up to yourselves, and thank you so much. No, I mean, the rumours are, this is what's out in the press, is 2 midfielders, a goalie, and a right back, and a winger. So I suppose we can surmise from there. But the problem is we have to know some answers to questions before we know who's going to come in, because do we need to buy 2 midfielders if Rodri stays? But we need to know if Rodri's going to stay before we answer the question on...
Martin, we still need it even if he's got a year left. We need to bring someone in.
Yeah. I think the bigger one for me is, does Maresca want to play Nick O'Reilly as a left back, or does he want to play him in midfield? Because, you know, if Maresca decides I want to go with Nori or Gvardiol, which he could easily do, and Nick O'Reilly's in midfield, then in a way we've signed a 100 million midfielder. Because if we were selling Nick O'Reilly today, we'd be asking for every cent Forrest are asking for Elliot Anderson. So
that's right.
If he goes into midfield, that again, you know, so if we keep Rodri and we decide to put, you know, Nick O'Reilly into midfield, suddenly getting one midfielder of quality, you're looking strong. But if Rodri goes and Nick O'Reilly is we see as a left back for the next 3 years, then you might need 2 or 3. So, you know, a lot depends on Maresca's thinking on, think on O'Reilly, and Rodri's thinking on whether, you know, the opportunity is right for him in Spain.
Yeah. It's just
Potentially, yeah. Well, when we talked about it last night, didn't we, Governor? We don't know. One thing we've got to do when it comes to players and who we're going to sign, this is not a Pep system anymore. There will be elements that are similar, but this is not a Pep Guardiola system. We're not going to play. Pep, we'll have to get used to not saying that anymore, aren't we?
It'll take some time.
Enzo doesn't play 1-6, an 8, and a 10. He doesn't do that. He tends to play two sort of a 6, 2 10, and inverts someone to play as the other pivot. So he kind of plays 2 10s and a double pivot, but the second pivot is not always a midfielder. It's like for Chelsea, he was playing Reece James as it.
Yeah, and sometimes Cucurella as well.
Yes, so you know, is he going to use? That's where maybe you just said about Nico O'Reilly. Maybe he inverts Nico O'Reilly from left back into the pivot alongside, say, an Elliot Anderson, and we play Cherky and Foden as the 2 10s. Well, then you've got to look at your wingers. Does he need to play the 2 wingers then? And these are the questions that I suppose we won't know the answers to until we see it. And the other problem is we're only going to have 2 pre-season games. You've got the Inter Milan game in Asia, and then we've got the Community Shield in Cardiff.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit weird they haven't announced any more pre-seasons?
I don't think they'll have time, Pat. I don't think they're going to have time because, when does it end? July the 19th? Something around that time for the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And then under FIFA rules, they've got to have 14 or 15 days clear of rest. So then you're talking the end of July.
Yeah, we don't usually see the players that play in the World Cup for the first month, really.
No. So we might even be in October time before we see the actual proper Maresca style.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Haaland didn't play because we've already got next season in mind with him. And once there was nothing to play for at Villa, you know, Haaland, along with a couple of others, they're already getting them rested before they start training for the World Cup. So, you know, I think clearly we know that after last summer where we had no proper pre-season and we went into this season having not had a proper rest, 15 of our players go to the World Cup. So that means 15 of them are probably, you know, most of that 15 are going to be doubling up from last summer. So, you know, that's then meaning they're going into their second, third season without a pre-season, without a proper rest.
Yeah, and it's not only that. I mean, someone just put there about Grealish. Does Grealish get a chance?
City Extra have just tweeted they reckon Maresca's planning to hold talks with Jack Grealish about chances of him reviving his City career.
Well, then you don't need to buy a winger then.
That's right.
I mean, I'll tell you what.
That manager might look at it and go, why would I bother when I've got all the solutions in-house?
I'm not sure I want to go back into the Jack Grealish debate with everyone again. Because, again, is it going to end well?
But I don't think that Grealish, Maresca wouldn't have him in mind for one of his wide forwards. Maresca would have him in mind for one of his attacking midfielders if he thought Jack Grealish was for City.
And Grealish has only got a year left on his contract too. So if nobody comes for him, it's only a year left we have to have with him.
He needs to be like a Cherky. He needs a free roam. You know what I mean? That's when he plays his best football.
Well, what do you do with Foden then?
Well, it's okay. They're all fighting for the places, aren't they, mine? They're all fighting.
Yeah, but you can have too many 10s.
Your strength changes, but if you're playing 2 10s and Foden and Cherky are your 10s, you've got to have one or two other players who can compete for that position, or if they get injured.
Well, yeah, you've got Semenyo, Mamouche, Mamouche, Doku.
I'd love to see if Maresca can figure out a way to get something from Marmouche, because I genuinely think Marmouche is I think he'd walk into nearly every other side in the Premier League. I think Pep, genius of football, one of the greatest coaches ever. I don't think Pep ever figured out how he could use Marmouche with Haaland. But I would love to think Maresca's got an idea for that, because I
think Maresca might be a little bit more fearless in terms of doing it, Rich. I think he might be a bit more fearless in terms of playing him off Haaland, in the same way that Mamouche played off Ekitike, where he had such a successful season at Frankfurt.
So when Maresca, what did he play? He played 3-4-3. So you've got to fit the players in that, haven't you?
Well, he plays a 4-2-3-1 kind of thing. But his two fullbacks almost go up, potentially
wing back. He has wing
midfielder.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to play out without wingers, are you?
Yeah. The one thing, though, the one thing I've seen a couple of people focusing this from Maresca is that one thing that's absolutely key in Maresca's team is that his goalkeeper can find the 4 players in the middle, including the midfielders. And
don't go there, Rich.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that I think Donnarumma might be even less suited to him.
I'm going on mute. I'm so going on mute at this point. We're not doing this debate again.
But it's a question you've got to ask. I know that. It's a question you really have to ask.
Listen,
maybe that'll be
Unfortunately, sadly, I don't think Trafford will get the opportunity. I think Trafford's already made his mind up. I think that's right. Well,
there's a chance we're buyback for Trafford because I think if Donnarumma does decide to move on in a couple of years' time, Trafford would be the one you probably want to have back in the team. So I think a buyback would make sense.
Why do we always presume Donnarumma wants to move on?
I think we think he probably will do in a few years, because that's just the lesson of his career.
Martin, I agree with you.
Didn't we say last night that no one really wants to leave, sir?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but the one thing I would say for Donnarumma, even beyond Bernardo Silva, is Donnarumma talked about his desire to go back to the sunshine before he'd even signed for City, because he found the Paris weather a bit miserable.
No, that's fair. Yeah. But Bernardo Silva said it. Erling Haaland said that he wants to go and play in Spain, in Italy. Well, I don't hear anyone saying Erling Haaland wants to go and join Real Madrid in the next 2 or 3 years.
Erling Haaland grew up in the, apart from growing up in the Amazon rainforest, Erling Haaland grew up in the wettest place on the bloody planet. The Norwegian West Coast makes Manchester look like Death Valley.
Pep's the same. He did 3 or 4 years at a club, and we thought he was only going to do 3 years.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand where, because Donnarumma's agent has made that quote, and I'm not defending Donnarumma. I'm trying to understand it, because if Donnarumma's agent said that, Haaland's agent has said that, and Haaland has said that, Bernardo said it. But for some reason we don't believe Donnarumma. But everyone else can say they want to leave in a couple of years. But Donnarumma says it, and it's a different energy. I'm trying to get my head around it.
Because for me, Pep is a fearsome, he's a radical and an intellectual, and Manchester is the capital of that in Britain. But Barcelona's that in Spain, Manchester's it. So Pep Guardiola's personality is, it gels with the Manchester personality, with the Manchester's history, the people and everything else. I'm not quite sure that Donnarumma is quite as cerebral as Pep Guardiola, and I don't think Donnarumma's going to appreciate Manchester culture and everything else in quite the way Pep did.
No, I think Maresca.
Sorry, Donnarumma, if I'm being unfair.
No, I
And
think
just quickly,
Maresca's-
Gov, just big up to Simon for 28 months as well. Yeah, carry on, mate. Sorry.
I think Maresca's got his own preference, but you've got to remember, Maresca's probably been watching the team for a few months now, so he'll probably already got him in his head who he's going to play.
And
what
he's
I mean?
Italian.
What about this
and
one with
Donovan
Bucks? As I
was
said,
Italian
Reinders is
legend.
going to be an interesting one under Maresca. Do your question
Say that
marks
again.
under Pep? You wonder? Do we wonder what Maresca might be able to do with him?
I just worry that unless Reinders just
So
needs
is
to
anyone
toughen up.
leaving at this point? Because apparently everyone's going to get the chance, so we don't need to buy anyone.
Bernardo and Stones.
But that
Martin,
gives us.
Martin.
But Rich,
I
that
said it
gives us
again.
Yeah,
a
we
squad
don't,
still
we,
at
don't need to
26.
we don't need to trim the squad anymore. It's fine.
But that only gives us
Good
players
26.
out, it's
We
good.
can
We're
only
good
have
now, we're good.
25, Rich.
Yeah, we're good now.
Now, Martin,
Yeah, but
I
I
did-
think there's
I did
others
say
who
at
are
the beginning
going
of the
because they
show-
want to go.
before we start talking about it, I said we need to get rid of players first and all the hangers on. Get them out the club. I've said this at the beginning, and then we can start talking.
No, perfect. Like, totally agree with that, Governor. But we're even giving Grealish a chance. So we're not giving the hangers on. We're not getting rid of the hangers on. We're giving him another chance.
Well, this is
Well,
the
we might not
hypothetical
be.
thing again. We don't
might
know
not be.
Maresca's preference, do we?
Yeah. I think what we're saying, Martin, is that Maresca might have a different view on some players to Pep. There might be
Yeah.
people that Pep would have kept that Maresca thinks, nah, I don't rate him.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I mean, my view
So
on Reinders
why
is-
do we want to get rid of Sabio then?
I don't.
I don't.
No, but the club do.
Well,
So
yeah.
I'm not sure it's right. I
Do the
don't
club
think.
want
I
to
don't.
get rid of him, or Tottenham coming back in for another opportunity?
No, the club do want to get rid of him. I don't think it is sad. I think Governor Spawn, I think Maresca's been watching us for a while now. And I think we're just doing a bit of the hopium of everyone gets a fresh start, everyone gets another go. I don't think that is going to be the case because, I mean, let's be honest, Maresca's probably even spoke with Pep.
Yeah.
And I said this a few
Yeah,
weeks back,
Martin,
thinking about
I
it.
agree. I
If
agree. with
Maresca
you.
was there a month
I
ago,
agree
Rick,
with you.
he was probably bleeding at training. He was probably at training and we didn't know about it. And he's watching all these
Yeah.
players.
But that doesn't mean that there won't be one or two players that he's going to do something a bit different with the team. And he thinks actually they're going to be a bit more useful for me than they were for Pep. And there might be players who he thinks Pep loves that player, but I don't think they're as good as that. I don't love them quite as much. So there is a chance that a player we think's nailed on to stay could end up going because Maresca doesn't fancy him quite as much, or a player who we thought was out the door. Like, you know, I don't necessarily think I don't think it's going to change for Lewis or Savio, you know. But
But why?
maybe it
Maresca might want to see him and give him a chance, Rich.
But no. I'm not saying. I am saying Maresca. Maresca's been watching City since January. We know that. He talked to us in January. I'm saying we can't assume that he is going to make every decision the same as Pep would have done if he stays. So we might have surprised people going because Maresca thinks, well, actually, they're not as good. And we might have one or two playing next year who we didn't think they were because Maresca uses them differently. And positional changes. Maresca might...
Right, I'm just going to switch to my laptop. Give me I know you've got other people coming. Just give me 5-10 minutes. I'll come in on the laptop.
You jump
that's
off
what
it
I mean.
and
That's
and I'll
above all.
introduce,
Yeah, that's
and
what
I'll
I'm
introduce
fascinated about.
Oriana.
How Maresca sees O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Oriana,
he
can you
sees,
hear us, mate?
Yeah.
Easy, mate. How you been? You good?
Yeah, all good.
No, nice stuff. How you feeling about it all?
It's sad, but at the same time, I feel like we could do with a change because things have gone a bit stale, you can say, and I'm excited to see how Maresca could use these different players, better players, and to see how he can adapt.
What difference do you possibly see in Maresca you might see from Pep in terms of how he utilizes players?
Oh, I have actually I've watched games of Maresca and all that. So he plays pretty much very similar to us, but he is a little bit more worried about the defensive side in transition. He does like to have a really solid base out of possession. And I think those are differences. With Pep, he is willing to push, like a lot of players up. But Maresca usually likes to have a solid base to defend that counter. But in possession and all that, I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, you know about I'm sure you've probably seen that about how in our treble season it was Maresca's idea to come up with the 4 centre backs. So I mean, to hear that coming from him and knowing that he's now going to be the manager, I'm sure that fills you with. But it's probably your reason why it fills you with a lot of confidence that maybe defensively will be a more cohesive unit, maybe under Maresca.
Oh yeah, and I just think it's a wise choice because he's somebody that's been around the club. Knows Pep. They're really good friends. So I mean, he was my first choice anyways. I didn't really want company or, Enrique's unrealistic. Obviously, I would like him, but
Ariana, you mean to say you don't want company yet?
yeah, I think it's too early.
Yeah, good shout, mate. Absolutely. I said the only possible manager that might be a shout in terms of seamless transfer, how they play, or what they would have brought into the club when Pep left was maybe Enrique. But besides that, I can't really think of anybody else that ticks as many boxes as what Maresca does.
I agree.
Yeah.
The thing is with Maresca, I heard you guys talking about the way he plays or a few, players that could have a chance. So Martin mentioned that he plays 2 10s, but he starts off with a DM, a 8, and a 10. That's normal. But what he does usually is invert somebody to play beside Caicedo, let's just say, and Enzo pushes up to be a 10 with Palmer. So you don't really lose anything going forward. It stays the same. But if anything, just makes you more solid when you're defending transitions again. That is the main part why he plays that, he said himself.
So in terms of our current, say, midfielders that, play in the fullback role, who do you think would be most likely he would have work in the inverted role and the frequent more?
Well, I think Nico O'Reilly can do it.
He's proven it, definitely.
Yeah, he can do it for sure. I don't know about Gvardio because Maresca's big thing is the midfielder has to be he has to be able to play under pressure and in tight spaces very comfortably. And Gvardio's a bit unproven. I don't know if he would do that. And he doesn't just invert the fullbacks into, let's just say, the DM position. Sometimes the fullback goes all the way as the left-sided 10 or the right-sided 10, like O'Reilly has been doing this season.
Yeah.
He plays just off of Doku, right? So you could see something like that. He does do that sometimes. But with Maresca, he will have a double pivot at all times, most of the time.
Yeah. Well, we know O'Reilly can do it. He's done it this season.
Yeah. Nunes could be a possibility also.
Well, that could be a possibility.
I don't know if you joined the show earlier, but I asked the question about Nunes because I thought the only thing with Nunes, going forward, is there's not taking anything away. He's had a great season and a huge step up from the mistakes that he made last season. But I feel that when you've got, I know Gov, Rich, I'm going to repeat myself here what we said before, but Oriana, you probably heard me say, I think you need to bring in maybe something like a young, raw sort of right winger / right wing back, basically, to probably compete with Nunes, because I think when you leave a player and is fixed in one position basically week in, week out, it can bring in a bit of complacency, or there's a risk of complacency basically. So I don't know if you feel the same way about that, but I think our squads perform at their best when there's competition for every place.
I mean, I don't, Pat. I think we need, as I said, I think we need a player better than Nunes who can invert into midfield. So I think Nunes needs to be our backup right back, not we sign a backup to Nunes, because I don't think Nunes, as good as
it's not about a backup. It's about them both competing.
But as good as Nunes is, I'm not sure he has the tactical nous, and he does have that penchant for mistakes to go in.
Do you get that sense that sooner or later he's gonna? Do you get this? Sooner or later he's gonna bowl something up.
But is that a bit unfair,
I don't want
though?
him in centre midfield.
Yeah, but
is that a bit unfair? Because he hasn't been doing that this season.
Nunes can get back. He's got the pace, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but he hasn't been going into midfield and truly inverting midfield. He's been pretty much sticking out on the right hand of the defence. So I don't think Nunes can go inside.
Yeah, but I mean, Maresca did that with Gusto, and I'm sure Gusto's an actual right back, and Nunes has started in midfield, so he would have a good idea on how to do it.
Reece
And
James
I
plays a
feel
lot in
like
midfield too, doesn't he?
yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like it's a bit unfair when you say that he has a mistake in him because he has proven otherwise this season. He has. I mean, I feel
I
yeah.
just yeah. I personally don't see the sophistication in Nunes play at the same level as Reece James.
Yeah, and I don't think he will be inverting, by the way. Yeah, maybe some games, but I think it would be predominantly Nico O'Reilly. I think actually Nuri can do it. I think Nuri can do it also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think that's who
Because
he would play.
that's probably where the inversion's going to come from. Then it'll be coming from the left side.
Yeah, because I feel like we have more depth there and more players that are capable of doing that.
But then you want that third player to be a really, really good defender, and I don't think Nunes is that. So I think either Nunes in Maresca's setup has got to be able to invert and have the sophistication of a centre midfielder pivot, or he's got to be a brilliant defender. And I actually don't think Nunes is either of those things.
My stance is that I'd love to get Lewis Hall there. I would.
I don't think he would suit the way Maresca plays.
I don't know.
I don't think Lewis Hall would suit it. Lewis Hall is more of a wide fullback that plays off the winger and all that. But nah, I don't think he's that type of player. I think if you're gonna get Lewis Hall, I think you have a better option than Nuri there that can do that job. So,
I mean, Nuri, I think he's technically a brilliant footballer, and I think we've got to figure out a way to get more out of Nuri, but that worries me because I think our best defender is Gvardiol. So if suddenly you're playing Nuri, then what does that do for Gay? What does it do for Diaz? What does it do to Kuzanov? I still think.
Well, in Champions League games, I think it definitely makes sense to play Gvardiol and Ryan Nuri because they're both left-footed.
Are we pigeonholing Kuzanov to be centre back then? So he can't have the option to go right back.
Well, I'd love to. I've always wanted to see Kuzanov given a proper run at fullback.
I am going to be honest.
Are we optimistic about that happening more now because we know about Maresca with the 4 centre backs?
I do.
Do we feel like? He's going to bring back. He's going to bring back some old habits. The old habits are good habits.
I don't think he'll play for centre backs because I don't think you have a centre back that is that good. Like I know Gvardiol could probably do it, but again, we've never seen it, so we don't really know. We don't have a center back that can actually invert. So I don't see him playing 4 center backs if he doesn't have one that can invert.
Well, this is it, Oriano. It's going to be a clean slate now with this new manager. We don't know what he's going to do.
I think Gvardiol could. I think Gvardiol's a phenomenal footballer.
But I think you're looking at different things.
If anybody was ever going to take over from John Stones as being a ball-playing centre-back who can roam the midfield, utilise the space, you see Gvardiol doing that?
Yes, but we've got to remember, to be a midfielder, you have to know when to, interchange with the DM. That sense, you have to have 360 vision. So it's not just as simple as you're technically gifted and you're confident on the ball and all that. It's not. I don't think that's how it works. I think it's it's a way harder.
And I totally get what you're saying. And the reason I say that is because too, it's like John Stones didn't learn to do that overnight. It took him 7 years, nearly 6 years, 6.5 years of being at the club before he finally realised that he could actually do that sort of thing. So we're not saying that Gvardiol would pick it up overnight and do it, but I mean he's been at the club now for 2.5, 3 years, and the longer he stays at that club and he learns like that he can be more than just a defender, and he's bloody good at being a defender too. But he can actually. That's the one thing that he's probably learned in those years under Pep. That Pep's probably along with other players realizes just like there is more to my game than just being a very good centre back.
I think we've said it
if it was going to happen, I think personally, out of all the centre backs we have, he would probably be the most likely one to actually be able to do that role. But whether he does it or whether he ever gets a chance to do it, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Sure.
What we said before, I think we've said it on a couple of times. It's not the name of the player; it's the profile of player we need in them positions. You know what I mean? Not so much the name; it's it's what's going out of the club. We need to bring in a profile of that player, but we don't know his system. So it's all hypothetical again of what system he's going to play. And he's got a bag of riches there, really, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? It's how he's going to work it.
And it's all going to be really, it's all speculation, and
that's right.
But I just love the fact that most of the fan base are really optimistic about what's going to happen because, we could all be doom and gloom because as we said, anything after Pep is going to be a downgrade. But hey, maybe it might move in a different direction, and that direction it moves, it might be something that we'll enjoy just as much. So we'll remain to be seen. Oriana, we'll keep you on, mate, because we'll probably stay on for a little bit longer. But I'd like to bring in Trev, aka Kitbacks Kids.
Hey up.
Hey, Miss Squire. You doing well, mate?
I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry,
Trev's come on to tell us. Yeah. You've come on to tell us Pep's staying, haven't you, aren't you, Trev?
Listen, did you have a few things to say about Amy's?
It's all
I'm getting annoyed with this because it was only me and Governor who was saying all along that he was definitely going, and all you idiots were going, no, he's staying. Right. And it was just me and Governor, and that was it in the whole world of City fans that were like, no, we keep telling you, when will you wake up? Stop coping. He's gone. Let it go.
I thought you were going to come on here and start talking about different types of 80s beige colours.
I'm very happy to do that. Yeah.
So, do you reckon?
Yeah, we can start with Governor. We can start with Governor and his shirt and couch.
No, wait.
Is that David Pleat? Is that David Pleat beige? Governor's shirt?
It's called Plage.
Yeah,
it's David Pleat, PL, and then Age. So Plage. That my sofa's Plage after the suit.
Yeah.
And the giddy skip, which made me want to leap over the little wall at the Kipax, which I probably could have done in those days because it wasn't that high and I was quite young and sprightly. And deck him. I wanted him to die on that pitch. I wanted to leave his corpse there with blood pouring out of it.
The way he was jumping about.
Then we walked out of the Kipax, and I mean, grown men in tears. Obviously, we walked out, and there was an ice cream van, but there was a cop car. The ice cream van was left alone. The cop van had been turned upside down, been turned on its side. People were that arsed.
Do you know what this sounds like, Trev? Because I'm too young to remember this, but it feels like this is like the northwest version of like Graham Souness at Galatasaray with the flag in the middle.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like an opposing manager has done something.
I mean, how old would I have been?
And in the middle, in the center circle, and everything's just kicked off after that.
I'd be 13, I think. What year was it? I could work it out. But you're passionate at that age. Huh?
1982.
1982. So 64, 74, 80. I was 18. Was I 18? Wow. So it was it was after going to that London to watch us get beat by Spurs. So you know what your passion's like in your teen years for the team. You live and breathe it. I was home and away. Yeah, but I was home and away at that kind of age, So the heartbreak was palpable. The only time I'd ever seen grown men cry was I used to be in the boys' brigade, and I used to bugle the last post at the cenotaphs. And I'd watch these old fellas from World War One, even, and that 1,000-yard stare that they had would break on that day, and you'd just see a little tear. And these were men who weren't allowed to cry for their entire generation, and you'd just see these little tears and the faces crumble. But that game was the only other time that I'd seen grown men cry. It was heartbreaking for me as an 18-year-old to see it en masse.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I used to play last post in my high school on Anzac Day.
Yeah, it is moving.
I didn't have a bugle, but I still played the trumpet. Yeah, but
yeah. Well, I used to do we had these regiments in the UK called in the north of England called the Pals regiments, where they took 500 lads who all knew each other from one small town, sent them to the trenches to be slaughtered. So I did a few of the Pals regiments ones, and they were like horrific. Because guys from the First World War were still alive when I was in my teens.
Your father-in-law, he was from the Lancashire Fusiliers.
My family were all Lancashire Fusiliers. Machine Gun Company B.
Yeah, it got disbanded though, didn't it?
Yeah. I've got books of them from when they were in Egypt. Franzipor was their base. They were based in Egypt mostly, which is weird for a bunch of lads from Manchester. It's like, where are you sending us? Egypt? Fucking what?
Yeah,
Do they have Rinto? Anyway,
Rich,
back to
Rich will
football.
tell you Egyptian Vimto is a bit overrated.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not. It's not one
Yeah,
of the
that
best.
export only one, they messed up the recipe, didn't they?
that's the one we get here.
I'm in a Vimto crisis because Amazon has stopped selling Vimto in
Shit.
Australia since I last bought. I've got a couple of spare bottles, but I am a bit worried about how much I'm going to have to pay for my next Vimto installment.
I've still got my can.
It's going to be costing me. It's going to be costing me as much as a bottle of Grange.
We need a go fund me, but just for Vimto. Then go Vimt me.
Well, I've said to
where you
Martin,
can send.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? For the first,
sponsored by Vimto. We should be
for the first. I
sponsored
think when Sydney was founded as a colony back in 1788, I think it was like 30 years or something of Sydney as a colony. The major currency in terms of goods and exchange and everything was rum.
I thought you were going to say Vimto.
Oh, that's right. Rum,
Can you imagine that?
rum or Vimto?
No, it was rum. It was rum. It was rum. It would have been funny if it was Vimto, but yeah.
The thing is, people don't understand the things that you miss as an expat. You know, I mean, I've been away from the UK for 27 years. I'm going back this summer. I'm going back in a couple of months to live, which is gonna freak me the fuck out. Yeah. But the things you miss, and things got much easier here in Thailand over the last 10 years, I would say. Prior to 10 years ago, I used to have to get tea bags sent out because the only things I could buy here were Lipton's, you know, the little tea tampons with the string on them. Yeah. Not even tea. It's like American beer. It's tea flavored.
Some of the Asian, South Asian countries do decent tea. Like I remember. I used to. I've had Dilmar's a good one. That's Sri Lankan.
Dilmar was one of the better ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
but still in a little tiny bag. Fuck that. You'd give me one more tea bag. And then a friend of mine went back to Ireland.
Anything but PG tips.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine went back to Ireland, and I call her Helene my tea fairy because she used to send me boxes and boxes of tea over. So she sent me Yorkshire and Barry's, which is a very good Irish tea. Love a brew with Barry's, and a couple of others, and Aldi. And you can get this one in Australia now. Have a look for Aldi Diplomat brand or the golden.
Yeah. I think I've seen it. Yeah.
It is absolutely the Aldi normal brand. The normal size tea bags are good, but the Aldi Diplomat is as good as Yorkshire tea.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I've just googled it here. Aldi Diplomat. Yeah. Yeah, they do good ones. They got the whole thing.
We're actually going to talk about City at all. I'm sorry.
We can't talk about the City unless it's about tea and Vimto and chippy tea. I'm going to be controversial here right now too. By the way, I've always said this since day one. It's like with chippy teas in Australia compared to the UK is you'll always have the better fish. We'll always have the better chips. We'll always have the better chips.
Barramundi is very good.
I love a good barramundi, but I prefer it grilled rather than battered.
Right.
Yeah. But as I said, you always have the fish, the cod or haddock that's longer than your arm. I love that. The chips are awful. But over here, our fish is good. It'll never be as good as UK, but we'll always beat you on the chips.
Where do you stand on that, English lads?
No, you won't.
I don't know.
It's a load of absolute rot.
I don't know.
Like the chips in Australia are not close to the chips.
Talking about?
Except near down in Maroubra, Big Dave's Chipper. Big Dave's Chipper makes proper chips. He's Irish. He can cooks them properly, but it's the only proper chips you can get in Sydney.
Wow.
Failing that, the nearest I found was a chippy in Singapore, but that's a bit of a long way to go and a bit expensive just for a bag of chips. People. Someone hates taxing Trev. Do you want me to leave? Tell me. Put it in the chat if you want me to leave, because I'll fuck off. I don't give a shit. I'm not here for you. No, I think it was they hate taxing, Trev. I think.
Oh right, I thought they were calling me. I thought they were giving me a new nickname, Taxing Trev.
Well, I tell you, if you leave Thailand for England,
come on, mate. The amount of music you pump out, I thought you'd love to start calling you Frank Sinatra.
A mate of mine was winding me up the other day. I don't know whether I can tell you this story or not. We knew a guy here, and his name here was Peter Smith, and he'd been here for like 20 odd years. And we all thought he was just a normal bloke. You know, he's just a nice guy. He goes back to England after 20 years, gets arrested at Heathrow. Turns out he was a really bad nonce in the UK. And he's in prison. And that Peter Smith wasn't his name. I was like, what the fuck? Because they talk about Thailand having that problem. It doesn't. It largely doesn't. You know, Cambodia and a couple of the other countries on the borders do. Thailand really cleaned its act up about 30 years ago. So, but yeah, this guy went back to it. So when everyone found out I was going back to England, they were like, are you going to get arrested at Heathrow? I was like, no, I'm not. Anyway, Australia, New Zealand, the hypothetical match that could happen. Would that be a war? How competitive would that be? Would it be you?
Do you know what it is? I think yes, there will be a rivalry, just in the way that there is a rivalry about a lot of things between the two countries. But a lot of the rivalry is quite friendly. I think the only exception to the rule with that would be the Bledisloe, the rugby, partly just because we're bitter and we know that we're absolute shite compared to them. But in terms of the football, like we resurrected the old football. I don't know why they called it the football ashes. For some reason, they called it football ashes Australia, New Zealand.
Because someone burnt a football.
I don't know. Like a Kiwi. I have no idea. I have no idea. But
been a wooden post.
Yes, someone burned a Chris Wood shirt apparently. So didn't they, Rich?
Burn
yeah,
the post.
So for some reason they started calling that the football ashes.
The football ashes is like a fucking box that big.
The last few years they've had good turnouts and it's good. Yeah, like it's really, really good. But
we do it on bonfire night.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, if that's the case, if we do end up getting a Trans-Tasman match in the round of 32,
is that what
provided it's on at a good time? Provided it's on a good time of day, like over here, because obviously in the United States, if it's on at a good time, it could be like lunchtime. You get a bloody good turnout. A lot of venues.
I reckon
really
England v Australia would be better.
Oh, it'd be incredible if Australia play England. That would be
unreal. Really, I don't have any feeling about that.
Then we definitely make it to the quarterfinals, Rich.
Australia would care 1,000 times more playing England than New Zealand. They just assume they're going to beat New Zealand, and
right.
You know,
the last time they played,
Rich, you're convinced Chris Wood would score a hat trick against us, won't you?
New Zealand's team plays in the A-League anyway. I mean, that's why when they went to the World Cup, the team from Auckland none of them were professional footballers because they had to send an amateur team because the professional league in New Zealand all goes into the Australian league. So they had to play an amateur team, and two of the guys didn't get allowed leave from their jobs to go and play against Bayern Munich, which was a bit harsh. I mean, you'd think I'd have resigned just for the chance to go and kick Harry Kane, to be honest.
And by the way, alone. And by the way, Auckland just won the cup as well, didn't they?
Yes, congrats to Auckland FC beating. I'm glad just because they beat Sydney FC and I hate them. But big up Auckland FC for winning the A-League. Yeah. Well, I think it's only a second or third season in existence as well.
That's right.
So Pat, what's your face going to look like when Chris Wood gets a hat trick knocks Australia out? How are you going to cope with that?
I'll be all right, but
I'll
be fine because Mo Toure and Nestoria and Kondo will score a brace each and will win 4-3.
No, I think Chris Wood's knocking you out if it's Australia, New Zealand.
No,
if that's the case, then he's knocking out England as well too.
I think, Pat, you'd be if you get out of the group, that'll be a great achievement. I think, honest
miracle.
I think so. I think so too, but also to be ambitious because if we get out of the group, then there's every chance that we can go a lot further than just one knockout round.
Yeah, it'd be great if you get out of it.
Oh, it'd be incredible. I mean, we exceeded all expectations in an even tougher group in Qatar 4 years ago. So that's the confidence that I'm taking into it. Well, that's one of the big things I'm taking confidence into it.
Yeah.
The weather could be a huge influence on this one. Again.
Well, Trev, I've said on previous BDU shows, I've said the other thing too that's going to help as well, and this is I'm going to relate this back to 4 years ago in Qatar, where if you had a look at a lot of the top footballing nations, they all struggled in their first games. You know, Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. I think a couple other European teams had mediocre performances. But Australia, even though we had to play France first, we actually played pretty well. And I think the other part of the reason for that is that where it was being played in Qatar, even though it was winter over there, it was their idea of freezing, where it was like barely 30, low 30s every day or something like that. the fact of the matter is that Australia and all those Asian teams, we play in Qatar, in that part of the world, at least a handful of times every single year with Asia Cup qualifiers, with World Cup qualifiers. So well acclimatized to that part of the world. So I think that sort of that was a big help as well too, in terms of getting us into the knockout stages. And the reason why I say that I draw parallels with that to the United States is because a lot of the core of our Socceroos squad now is actually playing in the MLS. So for them, they're acclimatized to playing in the States and the American style of how they play football. And the other thing too is that we're about to go right into the middle of the business end, or like when teams start picking up the pace in the MLS, and those players will be well into match fitness. They won't be anywhere near as close to being as exhausted as a lot of the players in Europe are. So that's why I'm very confident about it.
Quite well for getting through the groups, wouldn't it? I think that's your major advantage. Yeah, you've got the fitness, you're acclimatized. Yeah. All right, good. Yeah, interesting.
Yes, there's a lot of positives to take from that. It's just the only question mark I have is this: I wish our midfield is a little bit stronger. Because for so many years, like we had we had really good solid midfielders. Like we had Aaron Moy, the other fella, Rogic at Celtic as well too. He was a stalwart at midfield for a long time as well there too. But since then, it's like there's not really guys that really feel like they could take a game by the scruff of the neck. Really, like Aidan O'Neill, who plays in New York City, is a decent midfielder, but he doesn't. He's not quite one of those players you'd have to rely on. But also too, on the other side of that, for many years there, we had a solid midfield, but we didn't quite have a strong attack, especially after the years of like when Tim Cahill called it time on his career, when Mark Viduka left, when Harry Kewell left. We didn't have a lot of strength in attack, but now we've got Nestory Rankunda, plays at Watford, who's been doing really well. He left the Bayern Academy because he wanted to go and make something of himself, and he's been doing really well. And then Mo Toure, who Norwich signed in the January transfer window, bagged something like 12 goals in about 3 months, and he was out injured for half of it. So there's a lot of potential firepower there for the Australians. And the other big one too, which I think is going to be a big factor, is Jordan Boss, who was actually he was actually part of the CFG group. He started in Melbourne City, then he went over to Belgium, and now he's the regular left back at Feyenoord, playing really, really well. I think he was one of their top. Yeah, he is. He was one of their top assisters in the Eredivisie, and also won player of the season, I think, twice in the first half of the season as well. So there's a lot of promise and a lot of potential with these young players. And the best thing about them is I think the average age of the squad is only about 23 years old. So even if everything in the North America doesn't quite go to plan, I'm really, really hyped up for 4 years in Spain, Morocco, Portugal, because I think they'll be a lot stronger.
Do you watch Melbourne?
Convinced yourself, Pat, but not us.
I don't have to convince you.
You haven't convinced me.
To be honest, I can't watch the A-League. It's too slow. But
it is a struggle. It is a struggle.
It is a struggle to watch. It is.
Right. I saw Melbourne City here last year. A mate of mine owns a team in the Philippines in their Premier League, which is no big deal because nobody's interested. The Philippines is weird.
Because Melbourne was part of the Asian Champions League.
Yeah. So I went to see them live. I went to 2 games, and I mean, it was just such a mismatch in styles as well between the Asian teams that were playing in the tournament. There's a team from Bangkok, a team from Hong Kong and Singapore, I think. It was pretty poor quality.
Yeah.
But you could see certain elements of the CFG style. Just the players weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were trying to play Pep's style or the CFG style of football, the ethos. But the players just weren't good enough to run those lines and run that much, Yeah.
Well, it will be soon if, depending on what Pep does with this new global ambassador CFG role.
A lot will depend on how good your golf course is, whether he comes to see your team or not.
Well, hang on, Melbourne's got the Sandbelt, which Rory McIlroy said is some of the best golf courses in the world. So
there you go.
Yeah,
and they're good mates.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I've said. You okay over there, mate?
How do you've asked everybody, but how do you guys feel about the big do?
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Yeah.
Honestly, I'd have preferred it at the old social club at Main Road. couple of base suits, City players sitting around having a pint and a fag. And,
the smell of fresh woodbines.
Yeah, and
in the morning.
you know, the fans get to come in and have a little chat with them, and then you know, go and see. Have
a turn on.
shop. Yeah,
Have a turn
And then-
on and the bingo at 9.
yeah, maybe a free 4-page pull-out in the middle of the pink that you
And a
can
meat
take
raffle.
home and take home and
A
put
meat
up on the
raffle.
wall.
We were talking about the pink earlier, weren't we, Martin?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hello? Are you there? Martin,
Martin's typing.
come in.
He's too busy
It's
typing.
Martin.
Yeah, sorry.
about
Yeah,
the pink.
we were.
We were talking about the pink. I don't know whether, I think we're all of an age where we all remember it,
Yeah.
except for Pat, because he wasn't born in England. So this was a newspaper that when you came out of the game would be there with all the scores. A newspaper, an actual printed newspaper. They used to print them in a van.
And then you had to buy it again the next morning.
Yeah, to
So
get the
you
facts.
read the second half.
Yeah, that's true. But you get a first half report of a game you've just seen.
First half report, and then it was like 70
the
minutes.
game.
City scored the equaliser at the end.
And it used to be full of typos because it was put together so quick. My favourite one ever, and I used to have this in my house. I had it photocopied, and it was Steve McKenzie had scored. I think it was against Leeds, and the caption was Steve McKenzie equalises with a superb shit in the top right-hand corner instead of shot. It was a superb shit in the top right-hand corner.
That'll take some doing.
Yeah. So and you get the pink, and then the pink final.
Yeah.
Pink final, as it used to be called. You couldn't ever call it the pink final. It was called the pink final, because the guys who sold it used to stand there and go pink final. And you'd read it and it'd just go, the game was fine. No, it didn't. But
And
you'd buy that, and that would be the updated one.
Big group of people around there. We used to have television shops looking at the final scores through the window.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So, I mean, people don't believe you now, but they printed a newspaper outside the ground. Yeah. Outside the Kippax was a van that printed off this newspaper. It was only 6 sheets, but it'd have all the games in it.
Get all Premier League fingers.
It sounds like you were looking for the errors. Yeah, top shits.
Yeah. Did they have a page 3?
I've had a few emails. I've seen a few emails from people at Qantas where they say, "Morning all, just a general reminder."
Anyway, back to the football.
Guys. I know.
So do you think we should have a big do at the end of every year then now? Whether we win a trophy or not, should we just have a big piss up at the Co-op Arena? No. I think
that was a special one, that.
Yeah. But no, it wouldn't be the same. There wouldn't be a parade. There wouldn't be anything like that, but just a big do.
Yeah.
No audience for it, you think?
No, I don't think it's something we should do. I think if you win something, or you're celebrating something, I don't think you should do it every year.
No. Otherwise, you're only doing a do for your player of the year and your young player of the year. That's all you're doing.
Well, you could bring some other elements into it, like fuck up of the year, journalist who asked the shittest question of the year. You know, you could do a load of different awards for, like, you know, have a bit of a laugh with it.
No, you couldn't. No.
You got to name the award after someone, so it'd be like the Miguel Delaney Award for shite journalism,
for rubbish
journalism,
And it'd be a map of North Korea, because that's basically his model for the Premier League, is a footballing North Korea where everybody starts with the same amount of money. I've read his book. That was my summary of it. So you want a football North Korea where everyone starts on an even playing field with the same amount of money. Fuck off.
I don't think you can ask people to pay just to come for this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know if it was a really good party with some top bands, like, you know, make it like a festival. Have like 2 or 3 decent bands on.
I thought that
We
was
just
a
had a
nice
pub
touch.
open for 2 of our players leaving.
If it was a one-off Oasis gig, you'd
I
go.
thought that was a nice touch of Pep's favourite band.
Oh yeah, they were good. Melenas or whatever they.
Yeah,
I
that
looked
was a
at the
good
names.
touch.
Yeah.
Nice touch for him.
It was like
And the
it was
song-
weird 'cause it was like Sunday. People have lost interest in Sunday quite quick. In the
Right.
game. As soon as, because I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's nice, but when they were doing the goal, when they were doing Xavi and they were doing the goalkeeper, you know, the coaches, people weren't really in it. They weren't because let's be honest, fans there, they cared about the players and the manager. Really, that's what they cared about. Nobody's that.
It's a thing. Yeah, the assistants are a thankless job, aren't they, Mark?
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing because people around me were going, who were they?
But
And it's
Mark,
like-
Martin,
Yeah, but then
Martin.
one of his training staff had been there since the Pellegrini since
what I mean.
Pellegrini
Wasn't
started
it
there, and it was like,
Xavi out?
who? It's like,
Xavi out.
hang on a second. He's been here. He's been. You've seen the last like 30
you've got
trophies
to
of this
think
club.
about it though. When your wife leaves you and she takes the kids, the dog, the goldfish, the car, and everything, by the time it gets to the goldfish, you're a bit over it, aren't you? You're, like, you're a bit gutted. You're a bit gutted when the wife and kids are leaving, but then it's like the goldfish. It's like I don't really
Yeah,
care.
whatever.
about
You know, me other thing
I'll
about
take that.
it's something City you do in the 90s, and I think we have moved on from that. I think we have.
It's a
moved on.
gimmick. It's a gimmick.
I think we've moved on from having a party for having a party.
A club-themed rave. Get all the DJs back from the Hacienda. Everyone get off their tits on me and just have a boogie.
I just think
You know?
they did, I think they just did enough, and now we just move on. Like, I think it was just perfect what they did. That was it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was perfect. But and then back to reality.
And it's done now. It's over with. I know that
That's
seems
right.
very harsh, but it is.
Yeah.
It's done. It's finished.
Yeah.
It was great the way it was done, but I think his Pep's gone now.
Yeah.
He's moved out. He's gone. He'd already cleared his shit out and gone.
Yeah.
The removal vans were in last week, so
As me and Governor
Now we have to life without Pep now.
Pep has gone for the only thing more important than City, and good luck to him.
As me and Trev, we wanted to
out.
see them removal trucks first.
Yeah. True.
Pat, can I just come at some because I know people are going about this Jack Grealish thing and that's fine. And people, I'm up for giving everyone a chance. I'm just looking, I said, at the squad now, and it's huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. And
the
we've
fact
not
that
even
everybody
included,
coming back from loans and that, it's like, whoa, hang on.
we've not included a Victor Hayes. We've not included an Echeverri. We've not even included an iPad. None of them are
iPad was there
included.
though, wasn't he?
To be fair though,
He
Martin,
was, yeah.
at Chelsea, Maresca had 36 players, first team players in his summer at Chelsea.
Doesn't mean I want to be Chelsea, Rich.
No, but it means that we're 10 better than that. It's going to be easy for it. He was having to tell players like Sterling, you're going to have to go and just train with the kids and be unemployed.
I know, and that's what I mean. That's the position I don't want to get into a situation.
And that's so they had 36 and they signed. So we're in a much, much better position than that.
I mean, to think about it, the last 2 or 3 games of the season, let's deep it, we were leaving 3 or 4 players at home. Not kids, first teamers.
Yeah.
That's why Nico G was just out. Rico Lewis out. John Stones at times out, just at home.
Was Nico G left out of the squad on the Everton game straight after scoring the 30-yard worldie against Southampton?
No, he played the Everton game, got subbed off, and then
that's right.
Rich was saying earlier, and it is something that I share the view of with Rich. I could have made that sentence better. I won't bother. In that we like the competition. We think that that's very healthy in a team. Am I characterizing you right, Rich?
I think we need it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, we are veering into an area where there may be too much for that to be a legitimate argument. There's a point at which that becomes too much, right? Where there's too many people.
Some managers deal with that fine. Some hate it. Pep hated it. I don't know about Maresca. whether he's like Pep, he likes it. Some managers have no problem telling a player, "You're not playing this weekend." Yeah, I think Ferguson actually enjoyed it, but Pep hated it.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, but I don't know Maresca actually whether at Chelsea he must have had to be comfortable.
I think Maresca,
if he's got that many players, Rich, you've got to credit his man management then.
Yeah, I think he'd have to have been more comfortable that in Chelsea than Pep ever was.
I reckon if you sat him down now, he couldn't name all 36, and I bet he couldn't when he had them.
See, I'm just looking now.
It's okay, Trevor. Todd Bowley wouldn't be able to either.
I'm just looking at the minutes for Chelsea players for this season. Obviously, he was only there till December. Sanchez, 4,000 minutes. Reece James played nearly every game he was available. Mark Cucurella, over nearly 4,000 minutes. Chalobah, 4,000 minutes. Hato, 2.5. Gusto, 3 points. Fofana, nearly 3,000 minutes. Caicedo, over 4,000 minutes. Enzo Fernandez playing every single game he could possibly play. So I think this idea of Maresca swaps everyone around. Maresca's a bit more stubborn than Pep by looking at them numbers. Maresca doesn't change the 11 a lot.
It's safe to say
Fernandez and
Caicedo are his number 1 and 2 on every
Rich, you have 42 players. Jesus.
Caicedo is an out-and-out 6.
No, but this is what I mean. People got this belief of, I had this debate with somebody. People had to believe that. Well, if Rodri will get this rest. Managers don't rest your best players. They just don't. That's giving them a rest in a League Cup's fine, but you don't tend to rest them. This is why you go through the main players in the league. Yeah. A lot of them are all well over 4,000 minutes.
Cucurella really got
Nico O'Reilly was over 4,000.
Yeah, if the manager trusts you and thinks you're integral, you're gonna play.
Yeah.
If you're fit, KDB was the same when it was prime KDB. He played. Now coming off at 70 minutes, coming off at 80 minutes is maybe a bit different, and that's what we've got to look at with some of these players that are not playing or not played a lot. Is are they happy to be bit part? Are they happy to do a 10 minutes and then have the occasional game 1 in 6? But that's for them to answer. Because I'm just looking at the squad now, and the squad it is pretty huge.
Yeah.
So what we're going to have to do is, that's what I'm saying, we give everyone a chance. Listen, it's lovely and it's great, but there's a reason these players, they weren't playing.
Martin, I'm all for rotation, but you still need that consistent side, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've still got a best 11 if you play a Champions League final.
Yeah. You know,
but
I'm just thinking about it too. Like talking. Sorry, Trev, just quickly. Just saying. Yeah, we'll talk about preseason before. It's just you're right, Martin, about the size of the squad, and it's like, I think a lot of clubs will be, as we said earlier in the show, I think they'll be a bit discreet about their business up until the World Cup ends. I don't think we'll see a lot of cutting of that squad really until after they probably come back from Asia.
No,
and then maybe even the week between the Community Shield and the first week of the Premier League, we may see a bit of a max access of players. So I know you're stating the obvious based on what's there currently, who's currently employed at the club, but I don't think we're going to see anything really move until it's in the last minute.
Yeah,
and we've done that before too.
I'm going to ask a question we've all been asking, but in a slightly different way. So of the 4 or 5 players that we think are going to go, right, here's the slightly different version of the question. Who are you most worried that we might be making a mistake about? I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. When Delap won, I didn't think we were making a mistake. I had no fear because, and the same was true with Palmer. A lot of people thought that we were making a mistake. I didn't.
I think James Trafford. So James Trafford by a country mile.
Trafford.
That's definitely one, right? Yeah, no pushback. And Savinho is going to be the controversial one. I think I'm with you, Governor. I think he's not the one we will regret. That's not what I'm saying. He's the one that I fear we could be making a mistake by selling.
Yeah.
The
Slightly
difference
different.
is, though, I'd say for me, the difference between Trafford and Savinho is I don't think Trafford is that far off as saying we could pick him at number 1 in all our big games next year and he could be a successful keeper. Savinho, I still think, is a year or two away from possibly being a level where would be picked ahead of Semenyo or Doku. So for me, Trafford is a player who, maybe like Cole Palmer is at the cusp of being not a project, but actually someone you could trust. Savinho, I don't think we could start in 50 games next year and get
one more season, Rich, and he's out.
Possibly, yeah. So therefore it's a different question because Trafford would only want to stay if he's number 1. Savinho might stay to play 25 games. I don't know.
I think your distinction that you drew there is perfect. Trafford's the ready item, and you genuinely would fear that it would be a mistake to sell him.
But I also recognise Donnarumma is, last season I thought he was the best goalkeeper in the world. So he was good he won to me more than any other PSG player. He's the reason they won a Champions League. Right. His performance against Arsenal. So it's not an easy call. I just feel that Trafford could be City's goalkeeper for 15 years. And I do see Donnarumma going back to Italy when he's 30. So
okay. I'll give you mine. I'll give you mine. I'll give you my other one who I fear it could be a mistake to sell, especially if we're selling to a Premier League club, is Marmoush.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell him.
I genuinely worry that
I would
could
be
be
trying to. Yeah, I wouldn't be selling Marmoush. I'd be trying to work out how to get the best out of him because I think he's
Martin laughing at.
Because we're not selling any fucker again. We're keeping everyone, and then everyone will go spend another 2-3 million in the
summer. You've got to give them all a go. You've got to give them all a go.
I've got
there's our 36-man squad.
I accept we're selling a goalkeeper, Rico Lewis. We're losing Bernardo and Stones. Reinders can go. I think Savinho can go. But I do
Hang on a minute. Whoa. Reinders can go.
Over Marmoush. Marmoush is twice the player Reinders is.
Reinders has more G&A than Marmoush this season.
Different position.
One's a midfielder, one's a striker.
I don't think...
hang on, who has more?
I don't think he's close to as good as Marmoush.
More? I think Reinders played more than Marmoush.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. But what if
talk about G&A, you should do G&A per 90.
No, I'm only doing G&A. You've got to do G&A for Marmoush because he's a striker.
If Arwen gets injured, what do? You've got to have someone there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Again, but being number 2 to Haaland is one of those tricky ones because it's like they have to be versatile. Otherwise, are they going to want to be playing maybe only 10-15 games a season?
Well, everyone says you can put Semenyo there. Omar Mamouche has 1,393 minutes this season. Let me just look. Mamouche, sorry, 1,300 minutes. He has 8 goals, 3 assists.
Reinders has 1,700 minutes in the Prem alone.
Yeah.
Marmouche,
so he must have 2,500. He must have about.
And has 8 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League.
That was on Pep. It's Nico G and Marmouche just didn't get the minutes. They haven't really had a chance. But if you've got your top players playing well, they're not going to get the minutes. It's just one of them things. We haven't had the chance to see them.
The thing
are you going to bench Haaland?
No, but the thing I remember about Marmouche is when we signed him in the January.
How good
he'd already scored 9 more goals in the Bundesliga than Sesko had that season. United had signed Sesko. He turned out to be a decent buy. He's not brilliant, but he's decent, right? But Marmouche scored 9 more goals, not from the striker's position, but from playing behind the striker. We haven't really seen that from him. But then again, he's not had a run of games to build up that relationship. to not take up the space that Haaland does, which is what's happened every time he's fucking played with Haaland.
Yeah.
Do you think in that case Maresca might be more inclined to actually play Mamouche in his natural position?
I don't know enough about. I don't know enough about
Maresca. Take those risks a little bit more because we know Pep can be a little bit conservative in terms of utilizing certain players in certain ways.
It comes down to Maresca's preference again. Then, do you know what I mean?
What do we know about him then that might lend him to playing Maresca in for lending him to play Mamouche in that role? Do we know enough?
You play Mamouche in that role. What you doing with Cherokee and Foden then?
No, that's it. No.
This is pieces on the chessboard, Martin. You know, we move around to accommodate different players.
Yeah.
You know, to get the most.
I don't think you can tread with this because I think the trouble is with Mamouche, we've never played, and I don't think Maresca plays someone just in behind the striker.
Oh, put it another way, Martin.
Right.
Put it another way, Martin. Is Mamouche too good to be on the bench? So,
I think Mamouche is a good player. I don't think he suits Manchester City.
Right. So
I think the bigger question I have for Mamouche is: can anyone afford Mamouche?
Do you want a mediocre striker on the bench then? If he's too good to be on the bench,
can anyone afford Mamouche? Serious
yeah, he's
question.
on 300 bags a week, isn't he?
Yeah, he's our third highest paid player.
But this is the problem then. So again, going back to this, people don't like the conversations. I'm not saying Mamouche is a bad player. I think he's a great player, but I don't want to accommodate 4 players for one. And when Mamouche goes into his role, you got to move 3 or 4 players around to suit that.
All right. So
then I think you're asking problems then.
Let me put this to you. We need a backup for Haaland, right? Mm-hmm. If Mamouche goes, we're looking for a Semenyo can do that role.
I'd go back
for a game, but not if you need him for 15 games.
Get Macassar on the bench.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Use Macassar.
That seems to be the option, right? Is that if we can sell Mamouche, we are downgrading significantly to a young lad.
Yes,
it's a downgrade, right? It's definitely a downgrade. And we're willing to downgrade that far. I like Macassar. I think he's going to be great, but you know it's a downgrade, a big downgrade from Mamouche.
I mean,
are we accepting a downgrade there?
We're guessing that Mamouche is unhappy on the bench. He might not be.
We don't know that. You know, it's gossip.
But, you know, people are saying
I don't think he's happy playing 1,300 minutes, Trav. If he's happy playing 1,300 minutes, then I'm going to question his.
I know, but the thing is,
also too, look at how much Gino he had those first 6 months of Frankfurt before he signed him.
He's going to have to make a call. I need to halve my wages, or I need to be happy being on the bench, because City, where he goes to get a transfer fee, we'll accept. He's going to have to halve his wages.
I think he'll get 200. He'll get 200 in the Premier League.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to drop, but I don't think someone in the Premier. I think we'd be stupid to sign to the Premier League.
Look, you say that, Rich. Jack Grealish got 300 grand, and we loaned him.
I think Jack Grealish has a lot of off the field stuff going on that Mamouche doesn't, and I think Jack Grealish was probably for more reasons than just footballing reasons.
I'm going to be honest. I think Mamouche is a good player, but the last few games when I've seen him play, he hasn't blown my skirt up in any way.
It does really out of place.
Southampton, he started, wasn't great.
No.
The game was at Everton. Which game did he play alongside Haaland?
But he scored an absolute predator's goal in the last game. In the last game he played.
Yeah, but I think with Martin, I think with Mamouche, it's the same with Haaland. He's moving all the time. And if them balls don't come when he's making the run, then, you know, what did he do? Same with Haaland. Haaland makes a run all the time, the ball doesn't come. Yeah, it's happened with Mamouche.
So we are committing that if we can sell him, we will accept that we're not going to spend any money on that position. They could
get Krupa.
Krupa, we'll have to pay twice for Krupa.
New toy.
What we'll get for Mamouche. I mean, why would you? I think we'd be lucky to get 50 for Marmouche, and we'll probably have to pay 80 for Creepy, and you're getting a player who is a downgrade. Maybe potentially one day.
We're a little bit worried that Creepy's falling in that bracket of like what Semenyo was early in the season, where he's just like flavour of the week, flavour of the month.
And then this time next year,
a couple of years ago.
Thank you.
And this time next year, we'll be hearing that Croupy's interested in his England career and doesn't want to be on the bench, and he's not happy with the minutes he's getting, and we start the cycle over and over again.
But I think you'll always do that, Trev, with Haaland's backup. You're always going to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's never going to be Haaland's backup.
Because the problem is, right, anything other than Haaland is a downgrade.
Yeah. He's unfortunately coming. It's like it's the same problem we've had with Rodri. The Rodri's backup or the Haaland's backup. If you've got the world's best in that position, they're going to be a backup.
Well, the Rodri case is a little bit different because honestly, it's like it's not the case of like it's a downgrade on Rodri, whoever you put there. It's a downgrade in the fact that really, to do Rodri's job, you've got to put two midfielders there. So it's a double downgrade.
It's the same. We've said it before with Spine. You've got Donnarumma, Rodri, and Haaland, and you've got to get backups for them. Same thing. I mean, if Trafford does go, what other keeper is out there?
Well, they're looking at this. They are looking at this show, Charles.
Yeah, that's all that. Yeah.
Where is he?
It's Shea Charles.
Not Shea Charles.
Shea Charles.
Shea Charles, his brother. They're looking at him at Sheffield Wednesday.
Okay.
He's a man.
Because I think what they're doing is, I don't think they want to bring in. It looks going for a profile like him. He's a keeper who's not quite ready to be number one. Isn't going to demand to be number one. And kind of takes a little bit of pressure off the whole Donnarumma situation.
Has anyone seen him play?
He's also
his feet. He's
also a man. He played for our academy for years. He's or for the kids level. He's a Mancunian, so you know he wouldn't be a risk at all in terms of coming, fitting in, being at home. And I assume there's people at the club who knew what he was like younger, and I'd imagine they've kept watching him at Wednesday.
Yeah, Pierce Charles is called. He's 20 years old.
Pierce, yeah.
Have we got any updates on Trafford? Here was my point. I put it in the chat earlier. The reason we started to talk about Trafford wanting to go, if you remember, cast your minds back.
It's because he told the world many times.
That.
Yeah.
But it was also that part of the argument was that he was worried about his England career, but he got picked for England, so that's not part of his reckoning right now, is it?
He also played games where he won something.
Yeah, but that got him in the England squad. It didn't affect his England career whatsoever, so that can't be part of his thinking.
No, that's what I mean, Travis. So it's not about England; it's about playing.
Yeah,
he wants to play.
Yeah. Right.
Doesn't want to sit on the bench.
He wants to go and get the Got More Minutes trophy for the
It's a bit ironic because
he might think he's a lot better than England's current goalkeeper and should be playing in the World Cup.
I'd like to think
so. But the weird thing about Trafford,
he's on the plane. My favourite phrase of the week.
But he's left players at home who weren't in form and weren't playing at home.
Yeah.
Do you think England selectors have done just what they do every other World Cup? They've gone by the name and not by form.
Yeah, they've done that. They've done it arse upwards.
They do it all the time.
Well, no, I don't think it's by name. If it was by name, then you wouldn't be leaving Trent and Palmer and Foden and stuff at home. I don't think it's by name. I mean, yeah, their decisions in that team I don't understand.
Yeah, true.
The big one I don't understand is like they selected Jordan Henderson, and yet, I couldn't care less about rag players, but you talk about Kobbie Mainoo wouldn't do a better job in midfield than Jordan Henderson.
I have to say, as much I said it earlier, but as much as I have never been a fan of Trent, the idea that Jed Spence is in that squad ahead of Trent is beyond me.
I
Because
would choose Trent over
because
Jed Spence for
Arnold,
sure.
whatever you think about him as a defender, he could come in and ping a ball in to win you a game. He's got that ability. Jed Spence hasn't got that ability. So there are some decisions. I don't understand Madueke in a team. I don't understand Madueke getting in the Arsenal team this season. I really don't.
I agree with Sean in the chat.
Yeah.
Scott from Bournemouth. Yeah, he should have gone as well.
He's looked really good. He's one of those players who we don't know. I'd love to see him get a chance in a top team competing for title.
This makes sense now. Maresca was the under-23s manager. So obviously he would have had input into the under-18s, and Shea Child was in the under-18s in 2020 at the same time he was on. So Maresca would know about Pierce Charles. He would know about.
Right. He's putting the band back together.
Yeah, he played all Northern Ireland's World Cup qualifiers, didn't he? So he's been good enough to, and they got to the knockouts. They did pretty much as well as Italy did in the World Cup qualifying. So yeah, he's obviously got something about him.
Even Morgan Gibbs-White, he's had a good season and he didn't even get picked. Another one.
Yeah, there's some strange decisions.
It is what it is. But on the Trafford, listen, do I think Trafford's probably been harsh done by? Probably, especially at the beginning when he come in. He probably thought here I go, and then Donnarumma rocked up. But that's a manager's choice, I suppose. I think Trafford's an excellent keeper. He's got Donnarumma in front of him, sadly. And I know some would prefer it, some wouldn't. That's your preference choice. I think we've got two excellent goalies. And I don't think having two top goalies works in this day and age.
No, and I'm not going to weep for Trafford because at the end of the day,
he's choosing to leave as well.
Well, also the two biggest memories of this season are the two cups we won at Wembley. Ultimately, Donnarumma's big things was getting second in the league and getting knocked out in Madrid with the worst error of his career. So when it comes to this season, Trafford's got the best memories of our goalkeepers this season. And he's actually, because we did so well in the cups, he actually played a reasonable amount of games for a cup only goalkeeper.
Hang on, did you want Willie Caballero to be number one because he won us all the cups?
Yeah, true. Yeah, it did.
I was talking on one of our group chats with the lads down here. I was saying, remember Pep's first season about how much of a shit show that was. Obviously, Joe Hart going out, which Pep said is only regret. Claudio Bravo comes in, plays a mannequin challenge for half the season, and Willie Caballero ends up coming in as our first choice.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. We've always won cups, generally. You look, I saw enough of him yesterday. We won many cups. But I didn't see anyone craving the cup keeper to come and play number one for every single time we won a. So when someone says they won a cup, I'm sorry, but I don't buy the debate. I'd rather talk about how good he is than he's won cups.
Yeah. But it's I'm not. This is nothing about him winning cups. This is about his memories.
You talked about it. Then you can't mention the cups.
I'm saying his memories of this season are going to be far better than Donnarumma's memories of this season. Because his memories are going to be 100% the big games.
Yeah.
The reason I think a lot of City fans there's a few reasons a lot of City fans want Trafford. One, he is potentially the best. He is, of his age, one of the top couple of goalkeepers in the world coming through. Mm-hmm. Two, he's club trained, which is always massive for us. Why we love Phil.
That's the big thing. He's from the academy. He's from the academy. He's from
Northwest. He's from Northwest England. He is
Rich,
a brilliant
never
goalkeeper.
slag Rico Lewis off ever again. Come after Rico Lewis?
I will put money that I have slagged off Rico Lewis less than anyone else on this channel. I'm always popping at Tone for his agenda on Rico.
I've always backed Rico. He's only there.
Yeah.
I think we generally need to recalibrate our hypocrisy buttons right down, allow us all to be quite hypocritical, because we all will be.
I think everyone's a bit player upset. Everyone's a bit player.
Especially Manx.
I understand, Ariano, if you went off mic, we're talking about Chippy Teas and PG tips and that. So yeah,
you missed the best bit of the show.
Yeah, you missed the best bit.
I'm going to go and get a drink. I'm going to switch the camera off. I can still hear you. So don't
Yeah,
talk
right,
about
mate.
it.
We'll wrap up in a few minutes, but we'll we'll
put it
wait
quite
till
like
Trev comes
that.
back.
Yeah, it's a bit like Donna did the dirty work in the league and Trafford got the glory in the cup. So I wouldn't quite put it that way either.
Yeah, but
it's a shame, but it's a big mistake getting rid of Trafford. It really is.
But Governor,
we don't know
he's
him
choosing
yet.
to leave.
We don't know him.
I don't know, it's-
preference.
yeah.
I get it, but it's kind of no one's fault
Governor,
either. Like he
Governor.
never expected Donnarumma, and Donnarumma kind of fell in the club's lap.
Yeah.
Governor,
It's no one's fault. It's just a case of
to be
awful
fair,
timing, just the ways of the universe, the way the football universe works.
To be fair, City are not getting rid of Trafford. Maresca and Pep are making a choice between Donnarumma and Trafford. And if they make a choice in favour of one of them, the other one's going to want to go.
Yeah,
So-
and the thing is, City don't want him to go.
Yeah.
The thing is, you've
So
got the same with both keepers. If they choose
Trafford, then Donnarumma wants to go.
Donnarumma will be out the door. He's not going to sit on the bench.
And that, and you know, let's be quite honest. Donnarumma's not a risk. You know, with Donnarumma, that he's at his potential, and you know what he is. With Trafford, you're relying that he continues to improve. You know, he doesn't go all Nicky Weaver and be the best 21-year-old goalkeeper on the planet, and then, you know, get into too many other things. So you're not the best goalkeeper in the world when you're 25, and you know,
Because that was my short.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, Rick, I'm going to ask this. I just want to people understand because listen, I love Trafford. Thing he's great. So anyway, I'm not. I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to show the hypocrisy in what people are saying. And that is what I'm trying to do. I'll be honest. People are saying, well, Trafford should stay and fight for his place. If Trafford became number one and Donnarumma got put down to number two, what would you all say then? Would you all say Donnarumma should stay and fight for his place?
Oh, no, they'd all be waiting for Trafford to make a mistake.
Well, I've just told you my answer. He'll be out the door.
So this is what I mean. I think there's a little bit of love because he's the homegrown, and I get it. I love him as well, but we're not treating them both the same here.
No, I think it's the right.
This is the bit that I don't like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
We're not treating them the same. If Donnarumma got put down to number two, no one would say stay and fight. They'd be like, yeah, go. Trafford's number two, stay and fight.
No, I think Maresca makes
a different combo.
Yeah, I think Maresca makes a decision and the other one goes. You know, I don't think Trafford should stay and fight. If he's going to be number two to Donnarumma.
No, I don't mean you, Rich, but there are people.
Yeah.
There is a different energy around Trafford and Donnarumma. And for me, they're both brilliant keepers. They're both brilliant. But the reason
you can't be right.
You can have too much of a good thing, man.
And you know why I defend Donnarumma? Yeah. I'll explain it. I feel people are going into the nastiness with Donnarumma part. I don't think it's becoming. I think what's happened is that agent statement that was done a couple of months back has swayed people, which is why I said Ireland's agent said he wants to go and play for Real Madrid. So should we say get out? That's an agent's job, is to come out and get the stuff going. That is what an agent does.
Yeah.
Donnarumma has never come out and said, I want to go back to Italy in 2 years. Ireland has never come out and said, I want to play for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But it's only what an agent does if the player allows them to do it.
Right, then treat Haaland different.
Different. Yeah. We've had a lot of players, Haaland being an exception, but we've had a lot of players who's the David Silvas of this world, the companies of this world, his agents were never out there.
Then why did we love Bernardo Silva then, right?
Why do we love Bernardo Silva? Because I think he's the most important player of.
Right, but Bernardo Silva's been trying to get out of England for 5 years, and he has publicly stated that as well. Publicly stated it.
Yeah,
isn't Bernardo long? I think we said this previous years. Every summer window when he's been rumored, he stays because I'm trying to word this the right way. He stays because he understands that the club knows that he's worth more than what every club that he wants to go to can pay for him.
Yeah, and more importantly,
If that makes sense.
I have never once in Bernardo's career ever questioned his commitment to the team, his
And nobody
commitment
has,
to
because he's
playing
still
or anything. So
Yeah.
he may have thought, I want to go somewhere else, but when he hasn't, he's never gone and done interviews and badmouthed the club. You know, Trafford's done, you know, to be fair, Trafford has come out pretty close to the wind with 3 or 4 interviews this season.
He's very young, and I don't think he's that bright.
Yeah, probably.
It might not be media trained. It might not be media trained.
Yeah,
you know, that's fair. But
Mm.
Bernardo has never, you know, his obviously agent's gone and said, Barca, will you pay the 80 million City want and pay me 300 grand a week or whatever it was? But it's never happened. But we can never have questioned his commitment to the City cause in any game he's ever played.
I think some players are much better with the media than others as a general point, not just with Traff. You know, and I think Traff is kind of easily suckered into a media gotcha.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
which
why
may have happened because
that's why I think
he's a lad who thinks a lot about things. You know,
that's why I think Rodri's going, and why I think Rodri is brilliant with the media. And when he said what he did in Spain, for a player who's done thousands of interviews and is as brilliant as him in the media, he knew what he was doing. And a lot of people said, "Oh, they've taken a minute of an hour interview." That's not the point.
Me and Martin say that quite a lot because we read the rest of it. But...
Yeah. But you put that minute in, you know.
He did it last night with Cherky. I want to be captain. Cherky didn't actually say, "I want to be Manchester City captain."
Yeah,
he was on the bus because they showed it in the arena, and FG says he was talking with FG, and FG jokingly, because FG was great last night, was really doing some amazing stuff with them last night, having a laugh and a joke, was doing some amazing presenting, and FG went, "You sound like you could be Manchester City captain one day." And Cherky laughed and went, "Yeah, well, we'll see." It wasn't Cherky. Cherky did not get the interview and went, "You know what? I'd love to."
Do you think that you should be the Man City captain? Oh, definitely, I should be the Man City captain.
It was an off-the-cuff
headline. But that's not what it was. It's like, fucking hell, mate, you can be the City captain.
It was a piss upon a bus comment.
Yeah.
And the tweet goes out. Cherky says he wants to be the future man. No, he didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Two tweets later is Cherky wants to leave unless he is Man City captain.
Yeah.
Yes. The media outlets, we will not put a link for this.
Rodri has had those questions 100 times before. He has had those questions for every Spain game he's ever played as captain, etc. He's had those.
What are you going to say? What are you going to say to a Spanish journalist for a publication in Spain when you're in Spain being asked? Could you one day see yourself playing
the same as he did when he was asked that question 100 times?
That's what he said. I will be here for that. It was an off-the-cuff comment because FG put the comment out.
Yeah.
He said, "You sound like you could be a future man."
But let's not equate sober press conference Rodri and drunk Cherky. Rodri has done thousands of interviews more than Cherky.
Isn't he? Is Cherky Muslim?
Okay, maybe he isn't. Maybe he wasn't drunk. I've got no idea. But Cherky is.
I think he's Muslim because he's Algerian background or something. Isn't he?
No, he's from the Joie de Vivre.
Yeah,
the Joie de Vivre.
I'll withdraw any comment about him drinking. But Cherky,
he's not plastic Bertrand. Yeah.
He'd probably been on the hookah pipes or whatever. So instead, but anyway.
I don't know if he was drinking. Don't give me this because don't give me the Cherky's Muslim. Mahrez was Muslim and got pissed.
Yeah.
Don't give me that.
They'd have a bit of champagne.
Mahrez was getting pissed on the bus.
Yeah.
And he was Muslim.
Yeah.
I know plenty of Muslims who drink.
Yeah.
Don't do this because he's Muslim, he don't drink.
No, I was asking the question. Asking the question.
We can't just pigeonhole everybody into the one thing.
We've already talked about it, Martin and Trev. I put it to Rich and Pat. If Rodri does go, who's our club captain next year?
I give it Rodri.
Haaland.
No, if Rodri goes,
Ruben.
Who would be our club captain?
Probably Ruben.
Ruben's definitely, isn't he? Yeah.
By the way, Bayern Munich, it might be haram, but it still goes on, mate.
What about Haaland?
I think Haaland's a shout.
Well, he's one of
Haaland's
the
already
team,
in the
isn't
captaincy group.
he? Yeah.
Mm.
The thing
Yeah,
is, though, that we seem to shed captains, you know, so maybe not Haaland. It's got to be someone we don't mind losing next season. Because we have shed a lot of captains.
Well, I think, I think players like Guardiola and Gay, Diaz, I think we've got quite a few players who could be captains.
You've got to think who's going to stay on the pitch every week as well.
I generally don't like a striker as captain, just because I think I want Haaland concentrating on nothing else. But I don't want him wasting time running down the pitch, wasting energy to have to talk to the referee. I want him thinking about how I'm going to get in position to screw up their defence and we get the ball back in 30 seconds.
I get what you're saying, Rich, but also too, I never liked a fast bowler as an Australian captain, and yet Pat Cummins has won several Ashes. So
good point, really.
It depends. I suppose it just depends. It's just like what you affiliate the position on the pitch to. And I get it too, because I'd like to think like I don't like the idea of a striker being a captain because I'd rather have him focus on the job and bagging goals.
What you said though, Rich, the same thing can happen if Diaz is the captain and he has to go to the referee. He has to get back in position, and that's happened before when they've played the ball quick and the players not got back in position.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
That's happened before.
Sorry, guys. Kyle wants a lot of attention at the moment. So,
Martin Nash, can you
my dog.
In London City Report, he's not. Calm down.
Who's in London?
City Report come out and said Sabino's in
the
London.
King.
This is what people do.
If Gavardio stays and extends his contract, do you think he might be a shout to move into the captaincy team?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd consider it. I'd consider it, yeah.
3 years.
Gaze, a captain material.
I think Gay's too soon now, but definitely next summer, I would absolutely consider him.
I don't think he's too soon to be in our captaincy group. He's captained. He's captained more games than probably anyone in our team. Maybe I don't know if Donnarumma was captain anywhere, but Gay's actually probably captained more matches than anyone in our team now.
Give it to Kuzanov. He'll end up with more red cards than Sergio Ramos.
Kuzanov can't speak to half the players yet.
That might be a good thing, though. Just let your feet do the talking.
I don't know if you noticed it, Martin, with Kuzanov on the bus and more so on the bus. It was like
Kuzanov was funny. By the way,
with Donnarumma and FG, I saw that. Yeah, and Donnarumma just goes,
he's
crazy.
But he's wearing Crocs.
Yeah.
I don't think he's having a chat with Tottenham Hotspur in Crocs.
Why would you downgrade yourself to Spurs? I don't get that.
Because you're going to be their best player.
He's not even allowed to talk to Spurs because we've not even had a bid. So what?
Yeah. Maybe.
And let's be honest.
Maybe wants to play in the best NFL stadium in the Premier League.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few of our team are in London. I wouldn't be surprised if Semenyo's in London and Gay's in London and
true.
The other South Americans are in London because it's they might be there for holiday, they might be seeing family, they might be there for a couple of days before flying out from Heathrow to wherever they're going. I mean,
what's Rodri doing in Madrid? Oh, he's seeing his family.
Yeah. So if Rodri gets pictured in Madrid tomorrow, does that mean he's signing for Madrid?
That's right, yeah.
It might.
Well, according to
I tell you what,
the Spanish outlets are talking about that.
Yeah, let's be quite clear.
By the way, this is the photo. So he's having a chat with Tottenham wearing Crocs.
Yeah. It's probably the Brazilian.
It's casual day.
You can't take away the right for anyone to wear anything anywhere, Martin.
I reckon that's near the
Governor
Brazilian.
will know what this means.
Yeah.
I think that's near the Brazilian. I'm going to start being more careful with who I have on as guests on this show.
I think that photo's near the Brazilian embassy, to be honest. I think he might be going to the embassy. Because I think that photo's near.
I think he might be signing for Arsenal. You never know.
I think he's there for the big 115 decision reveal.
Let's be quite clear. I reckon
No, he's
That-
not, Cade. Cade, no, he's not allowed to speak to Spurs to agree personal terms. That is done
No.
privately with an agent behind players' backs, but he's not allowed to do it because then he is breaking rules because there's no fee agreed. He's not allowed to do that, Cade. And he's not, and he wouldn't publicly put it out on social media that he's doing that. Because then City do have a case to go after Spurs.
And we don't break rules.
Come on. It's like City have spoke to Elliot Anderson, but Elliot Anderson's not putting a picture of him in Manchester. Hi, guys, I'm in Manchester.
Yeah.
Come on.
All he can do is follow City on Instagram.
Some people
Drop a
really
little
do
hint.
believe
That's
Twitter
enough.
too much.
Yeah.
Some people really do believe Twitter far too much.
They believe that
tell you what,
that is the reality.
I tell you what, though, I think the Spanish squad for this World Cup is the most humiliating day in Real Madrid's history. And I think Real Madrid are going to have to sign some Spanish players. And I think Real Madrid are going to have to sign some leaders with enough personality to knock some sense into that team. And if you were looking for a Spanish player with the strength of personality to actually bring an improved culture to your team, I know who I would be looking at over any other player in the world at the moment. So, unfortunately, Rodri. So, you know,
That
I
must be a
think
first, Rich.
Trev don't like this subject. Trev don't like this subject.
no, I
must be a
hate if
first.
I've already told you Rodri's dead to me if he goes to Madrid because I hate Madrid.
Jesus, Rich.
And-
No,
Well, here's the thing about the Spain squad you're saying, Rich, is Madrid squad. They said that it's so Dean Huysen, Danny Carvajal, and Gonzalo Garcia. They've only got 3 Spaniards in their squad.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't there some? I thought there was some regulation where, well, I don't know if it's Spain or something, but are they meant to have a really high, much higher quota than England? Let's say like what English clubs do with English players, or is that more of an EU thing? I think it might be EU. But look, I've got to be honest with you. Like I look at that and I'm like, Carvajal, maybe he could get in because he's still a bit of a leader there. Huysen, good defender, but he's no Sergio Ramos, I'm afraid. And Gonzalo Garcia, as far as I know, he's way down the pecking order. There's a lot of other players playing ahead of him at Real Madrid. So I kind of understand it, why they didn't go. But then again, I mean, in terms of World Cup squads, especially with Spain, that Real Madrid badge holds a lot of sway in terms of World Cup selectors. So it's very surprising. Very surprising.
I think it is an absolute, you know, considering they've probably had close to double digits in our lifetime. Most Spain teams who've gone there have probably had 5 to 10 Real Madrid players every squad. I think that is a humiliation to Real Madrid, and I think they'll have to address it. And that does worry me, given there's a player I desperately don't want to ever play for Real Madrid, who I think's perfect for what they need as a club at the moment.
Yeah.
See, by the way, I'm just looking at this Pierce Charles here with some of his kicking ability. And he doesn't kick anything short, everything's long.
But have you seen the players he's had to play with this season?
Yeah,
this is a team who's had to sell he's about the only player they didn't
Oh,
sell.
no, there's a rumour now. Another rumour. It's from Zishan, from Zishan season.
I've been waiting for him. I've been waiting months for him. Yeah.
Understand City are preparing for the worst possible outcome regarding the Premier League's 115 charges.
Yeah.
Whispers around City is that a transfer ban and a points deduction could be on the cards this summer. City have hired specialist consultants that will be ready to appeal against. Fuck's sake, what is this? Is this fucking guest season or what?
Unbelievable.
I've just seen 2 similar from Arsenal sources. So this is a campaign. People think I'm being paranoid. No. On social media, people get together in WhatsApp groups and they all say between 6 and 6:30 on Monday, we're all going to start pushing this narrative. And it all happens very quickly. And they all do it. And even, I believe, some clubs are engaged in this, where they have a team of 20 influencers and they go, right, this is what's going out between 6 and 9 on Tuesday. And they do it. Whether they get paid for it, I don't know, or whether they get paid in kind. But I also think there are groups of fans who get together and do this too. And so I've just seen 3 now. You've mentioned one. I've got 2. And so without a doubt, Magic Twat will be out with 1 because he'll be part of it. It's just a narrative. Yeah, Hand of Arsenal. It is my understanding that there, you see, passive attribution. This is a phrase we all need to learn and become familiar with. And that's a classic. It is my understanding. No attribution, right?
The only thing that's
It
come
is-
out today is off Fabrizio. That was this morning. Enzo Maresca has already signed a 3-year deal as Manchester City manager. Agreement until July 2029. New chapter starts soon. Maresca is fully involved in the transfer strategy.
Yeah. But just on the 115. So, Hand of Arsenal, it is my understanding there is a seriously confident expectation now, again,
Amongst
nothing,
2. Amongst 2.
for a decision on the Man City 115 case to be delivered in the coming weeks, and then brackets,
Could be yes, could be no.
sometimes in the summer at the latest. Fucking, I could pull a better one out of my arse than that. Yeah, I could pull a better one out of my arse and paint it in shit.
I've got a drop.
Go on.
That's all right, mate. We're going to wrap up in a second anyway.
Yeah, I've just got a quick announcement to make.
Yeah, as we're wrapping up, Martin, yeah, you go. Rich, thanks for everything, mate. Have a good night, and we'll speak to you soon.
It's Martin promoting me to vice captain.
By the way, 4 likes away from 100 to get Pat up to 100. That'd be amazing. Tonight, 5 p.m. I'm on Dan Potts' channel, Football 12 Man. Either that or League Judges. I'm going to be going on to have a little chat about the 115 because I've heard some absolute BS coming out of people's mouths from AFTB in the last few days. So I will be going on to have a debate with Dan. I've asked him, can I go on? Apparently, Haaland was bought cheap. No mention of a release clause. They've all heard City getting done with 115. So I was like, no, can I actually come on and talk about this sensibly without...
But isn't Potts just a wanky wind-up merchant?
So we'll find out. Dan Potts is a top guy. Love Dan Potts.
Right.
Yeah, he's
He's
very
good, mate.
Yeah.
Mate.
He's probably one of the better ones.
So we'll find out.
Some people think we're related, but yeah.
Tonight, 8 p.m, over on Through Black and White Eyes. Oil Brothers will be back. We will be talking, obviously, about the Savino links to St. James's Park, as well as a little bit of a season review. Player of the Year, that sort of thing over on Bazzy's channel. And then, obviously, Thursday, we're back with Thursday Night Chat, where we'll do a season review. And then as soon as the Maraski News goes live, we will come live with it. So other than that, that's it. Oh, and Jack Gorn, we're going to record it on Friday. So I will put a post out today in the community post for questions for him.
Have a look at your WhatsApp, Martin.
Yeah, we'll do. I'm going to do that in a bit, mate.
Yeah.
I'll do that in the next half an hour.
Do you want to do it now, or Thursday Night Chat will you'll tell us who won the footy tipping?
Well, again, I was the only one who put a prediction in. I got it wrong, but I was the only one.
Yep. So we all got it wrong.
Yeah, we all got it wrong because I said City would win. So, as things stand, I've won.
Woohoo! Congratulations.
You would have made us wait till Thursday Night Chat, but
and Ed's bottom. So we've now got to think of a
wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon for Ed.
Yeah, yes. I got one straight off the bat. I got one straight off the bat. He has to wear an Australian. He has to wear an Australia shirt when we play him play the USA in the World Cup.
Yeah, that's
come third.
So he can. So that's the thing. It's like he has to wear it. So if he goes out the pub, if USA score, he has to celebrate US scoring a goal or winning the game while wearing an Australia shirt. Are you there, Ed? I know he's been floating around in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get Ed a little booby prize.
So what do you win then, Martin?
I'm not gonna take a prize.
He wins the football Ashes.
We win another season. We win another season of him running the bloody thing. Oh, that'll be the end of me.
All right, guys, I'm gonna scoot because I got to feed this dog.
We're going to wrap up anyway.
why you're
Trev,
caring
pleasure
about
having you
me.
on, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Pat. Yeah, talk to you all soon.
Great show,
Thanks,
Pat.
mate. Thank you. And Martin,
Big up, Trev.
Martin, you've been
Take
good
care,
too.
Trev.
Thanks. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point.
We're missing Macca, by the way. By the way, I met Macca at Bournemouth. Top bloke.
Oh, you did. Good. I'm so glad you
Oh,
did.
did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
He said he's the only sensible one who talks sense on Blues Down Under.
Well, after 15
Well, at
pounds.
least you're holding up your end of the bargain by saying you don't listen into our shows. So at least
I'm on it.
at least you give us some peace and quiet. Yeah. But yeah, that is what it is. That's it. Last Blues Down under the Pep era. But you know, I'm sure me and the lads will be back. You know, we'll have transfer news and, you know, hype it up to the World Cup and things like that. But yeah, as Martin just said, a few more things to look forward to this week. And yeah, look, what can I say? I'll say it now anyway, just in case we don't have any shows for a little while. But yeah, big thanks to everybody for this 25-26 season. I know Blues Down Under, we're sort of at the mercy of our lives here in Australia and schedules and work schedules and God knows what. But when we've been able to give you content and that, you know, as many weekdays as we can, you know, we're always happy to do it. And part of the reason we do it is because of you guys. The community we have is fantastic. It's always fun. It's always a laugh. You know, it's never at the expense of anyone or anything really. All I can say is just thank you to everybody, and we'll keep doing what we keep doing, and just go and enjoy yourselves. You know, it's summertime now. A lot of these people, it's summertime where you are. You know, it's been a great
That's
season
back
of
in
football.
Barcelona, by the way. He landed
Thought
today.
so. I assumed as much. Yeah, perhaps in Barcelona, maybe you should go and do the same. Go and get some sunshine. Although, to be honest, it's nice in the UK, isn't it?
I am in July. No, in July. Trouble is, it's cooler where I'm going in July than what it is here.
Yeah.
it's
How hot was it there? We're getting about 34 degrees.
It's a bit warm. It's a bit warm at the moment. It's a bit sticky. It's a bit sticky at the minute. I've got my fan on at the minute on full whack.
Yeah, it's an exciting
I don't know how you could deal with it, mate. It's just unheard of, you know. Like you know, I can't imagine trying to live like that, you know.
And the next few
It's
days
hard,
it's
you
going
know.
to be pissing down.
Yeah, all of 2 weeks every year, you know. Like, jeez, what a struggle.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Up the Blues.
Come on, boys.